All right, welcome to Fortress Friday. This week we're going to be playing some Oxygen Not Included. I have dumped so many hours and so much time into this game. A little bit newer, a little rougher around the edges than Dwarf Fortress, but I think it's part of the charm, as in a lot of things that Klee puts out. So let's go ahead and find us an asteroid to play on. We're going to be playing survival, but I'm feeling a classic map, doing a little bit more for us without having to dig too deep into space. If we are lucky, we may do some space stuff this stream. We'll see how far we go, though. So let's take a look at some of these seeds. We want something that's going to be not a huge pain in the butt to deal with. Not feeling brave enough for the Frosty Planet pack. You know, let's take it nice and easy with the default asteroid. Just start on Terra, make it super duper simple. Let's see, radioactive swamp. What do we got here? No traits, no traits, no traits. Might always be no traits. So I think we're just going to give this a shuffle and roll out. I always think of The Sims whenever we get to a loading screen like this, recalculating splines. All right, who are we rolling in with? Well, Steve, Abe, and Bert, I don't know if you've got what it takes to launch our little colony off the default. So, I haven't played in ages. Let's go with a scientist, an excavator, and do we want to go with a decorator? Do we want to go with a rancher? I think we'll go with a builder. Let's see. All right, Max. No big downsides. I don't hate narcoleptic as a trait. So I think Max gets to hang out. Amari, what do you got? Excellent excavation. Cannot do decorating errands. I don't care. Decreased construction. We can work with that. I think we can work around. Rowan, construction and science. No, instead of construction, we want a science dupe. What am I doing? Wait, Max can do that. Never mind. Increase husbandry, dip into science. That's not going to do much for us. Germ resistant. Can't cook? I think we can manage that. All right. Name the colony. Dupes. Final hope. There we go. And off we go. Alright, the asteroid we call home has collided with an anomalous planet, decimating our colony. Rebuilding it is of utmost importance. I've detected a new cluster of material-rich planetoids in a nearby space. If I can guide the duplicants through the perils of space travel, we can build a colony even bigger and better than before. I certainly hope so. Hey, good evening! Thanks for joining us! Alright, let's kick this thing off. So we are playing on the Terra asteroid today. It is kind of the baby initial setting. I think a good way to ease back in the game. I have not played Oxygen Not Included in a minute, so we're gonna get ourselves reoriented. Let's see. I think we want to go with a classic 16 by 16 room. That makes a lot of sense. And start digging this stuff out. There you go, team. Thank you. And with a couple of rocks collected, we're going to go ahead and drop a floor in for our base. One of the first things I'm definitely going to want to do here is get ourselves set up with a bathroom. Don't want to put our dupes in a situation where they can't take care of what they need to take care of. I don't think we're going to put it on that side. I'll leave those ladders in. I don't think we're going to put it on the right side just because we've got that big source of water. Eventually, I'm going to want to run a pump there, probably use it for getting some of our science research. But for now, let's put the potty on this side. Need a little more metal before we can do that. Fortunately for us, we've got this copper vein right here. Alright, thanks team. There we go. So definitely our checklist for very first items are we want to get a bathroom up and running, we want to get some beds in place, give them a place to sleep. We've got a pretty comfortable amount of food sitting in this ration box, so I'm not super duper worried about starting to get any kind of food production up and running first thing, but it's going to be pretty high on the list. But for now, I mainly want to make sure that they don't end up soiling the floor. Having polluted water this early on is a little bit of a pain. It'll bubble off all kinds of polluted gases, make our dupes kind of miserable. So let's see. Medicine menu, wash basin. We're going to give them a little place to wash their hands. Give them a little more room to do their business. These luxurious looking little outhouses. Ugh. We're gonna upgrade that soon enough. Now once we have a little copper on hand, I'm gonna go ahead and install a door right in the front so we can at least get a room bonus for building up this space here. Definitely, if you've not seen or played Oxygen Not Included before, the main thing that we want to be cognizant of is how our dupes are feeling. That is represented if we go ahead and check out our dupes' little information panel. This is Gossman here. This is represented by their stress. Their stress, if they're in a great mood, is 0%. They got a couple bonuses to their stress because we are brand new on the colony. Oh, so sweet. Nah, I'll probably go and grab one of the puppies in a second just to have someone to cuddle with. That's too cute. But yeah, if we haven't, the big thing for our dupes' well-being is to manage their stress. All of them have a stress score here. It's influenced by things like their environment, the amenities they have, whether or not they have food, water, bathroom access, bedding, and we can see the stress of all of our dupes here with the score representing whoever has the highest stress. So doing things like giving them access to a bathroom is going to improve that. Now, there was a time early on, I want to say it was in, like, open beta for this game where we could, exploit stressed out dupes to do some funny things, like generating air out of nothing, or, harvesting water. We're gonna hopefully avoid needing to do any of that today. Now we've got that bathroom built, let's think a little bit about bedrooms. So I think we can actually put the bedrooms fairly close to the bathrooms, give them access. Dupes tend to like to use the bathroom right after they wake up. So we're going to go ahead and create a little space here. I'm also going to throw a door there for the same reason that we put one on the bathroom. If we look at our rooms overlay, we can see here that this is now considered a latrine. And it's going to give a +1 morale. Yeah. No, that's excellent. Just wait until we get the space rockets. They vent into nowhere in the rocket, so we get to have a fun with, or the bathrooms on the rockets in space. But yeah, so by closing in this little bathroom area, we've created a latrine that's going to give them a tiny morale bonus when they're using it. That's going to give them the ability to like build up extra skills. It'll let me, I won't say push them a little bit harder, but yeah, it'll let me push them a little bit harder. So if we're going to give them challenging tasks, let's at least give them the proper amenities. Ooh, I do not like that I missed the opportunity to make them beds on their first night. They're going to have the, let's see, they'll probably wake up with the sore back debuff. Let's see. Yep, sleeping on floor. Is they are slowly, it looks like they're losing stress because they're on the floor, but they will have a sore back. Yep, there it is, the sore back debuff, which comes from sleeping on the floor. So let's see, here it is. Yep, -1 athletics, so they're going to be slightly worse at digging and construction as a result of doing that. But if we are prompt, that is the last time they're going to have to sleep on the floor. Here we go. Is this a 16 room? Yes, it is. There we go. We're going to case that in. So soon, it looks like in 1.5 days, 1.5 cycles, we're going to get access to a print from our printing pod. That's either going to be a new dupe or some kind of supplies. We're going to aim if the qualities this dupe has that it prints or the options it offers us are good. We're going to shoot for a dupe here. We can definitely support 4 on just a beginner colony. It's not going to be too tough. And that'll give us access to someone, hopefully, who has something like farming skills. If not, we can make do. Alright, 2 beds built. We can go ahead and open up more of this chamber. Did I make the internal area too small? I didn't make room for doors. That is fine. That's fine. I just messed up my grid first thing. I'm not going to go so crazy on that. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and enclose this space. So one of the reasons that I like to, when I'm paying attention, build all of the rooms on kind of a 16 wide by 4 tall grid is that is the maximum size for things like luxury barracks, kitchens, all of these rooms that will give morale bonuses. So building just kind of a nice 16 wide grid makes those things line up and be kind of tidy. I might have made that a little bit small. You know what? Can I kick this over? Nah, I'm not going to worry about it. So here we go. Thank you, team, for putting in our beds. You'll be grateful in a little bit. So we've got bedding taken care of. We've got bathrooms, I'll say sort of taken care of. I'd like to get a little bit of water in for these wash basins. Now let's see. Let's change the direction so they only wash as they're leaving the bathroom. There we go. So now, controlling the flow, dupes who are moving from the outhouses past these wash basins will wash their hands, and I won't waste water going the opposite way. Gonna want a tunnel out here, just so we can fill in that space and get our full room bonus. There we go. Thank you, Max. We appreciate your efforts. So I think with that under control, next thing is to, just like the title suggests, get a little bit of oxygen. It is not included. So we have a little bit of oxygenation in the starting chamber provided by these oxalate deposits. These, when exposed to air, you can see them kind of bubbling and shaking there. When exposed to air, they'll gently off-gas into oxygen, which fills the room. We can go ahead and look at the oxygen display to see how that's flowing. So this space here, where the oxygen is pooling, is super breathable. Dupes are going to be happy. There's enough to get by up here, but we can definitely do better. Good news, we can harvest it from this algae. So we're going to place an oxygen diffuser here. Oh, mealtime! Yep, there we go. Oh, that is a face. That is thanks team. Good. Don't eat there. Oh. They're going to get food poisoning. Ugh, can't win. It's like wrangling toddlers. As they sleep, we're going to do a little bit of planning. So the first and kind of most convenient source for our oxygen is diffusing it out of this algae that's lying around everywhere. It's not a sustainable or a long-term option by any stretch of the imagination, but it's going to give us something. I'm also going to put a little storage bin here for them to store their algae from around the map, just to leave it nearby, reduce our time on errands. And that should solve the oxygen problem by the time they get up. While we're working on power, let's also throw in a basic research station. Give our scientists something to do. I believe is Max? Aw, current errand, express themselves. So charming. Yeah, you're sanitizing because you decided to eat in the latrine. Like, what do you want? Look at these little things, hatches. They're... I don't even know what to compare them to. They're a little tunneling animal that makes their way around, hides in the dirt like this over day, and they eat whatever is placed in front of them. Dirt, seeds, and the like, and convert it into coal. We can exploit that later if we want. It's a little ahead of us. So what I'm going to put here is I'm going to throw algae in this bin and nothing else, and put them at a slightly lower priority. So if our dupes have nothing else to do, at least they'll start sweeping algae from around the map and dropping it into this bin. Oh, our narcoleptic Max. Oh, narcoleptic nap. Hey, at least he's getting stamina from it. It sounds like it feels nice. Now once we break into this little pocket here, we're going to put in a manual pump so that We can utilize this water to clean our bathrooms. I'm a river unto my people. Good work, Gossman. I saw that trip. Now let's see. We have got... We've got 16 dupe days worth of food. So we've got 16,000 calories. That's going to get our 3 dupes through the next... I can totally divide 5 days and change. That's not the worst. As we continue excavating around this biome, we're going to find things like this muck root, which are shelf-stable food. They just exist. The quality is really poor, but it's free, it's there, and it's going to get us through more of kind of the initial start. Pretty soon, though, especially as we start printing new dupes, we're going to want a more sustainable source of food. I think we're going to place that down here, maybe on one of the lower levels. Taking a look around our map to see what we're dealing with. Okay, we've got plenty of this just nice, peaceful biome up here. I'm seeing sandy biome, rusty biome, I think is what this is called. Sulfur, copper ore here. This is, I think, a chlorinated biome with more oxalate. Taking a peek around for our temperature, too. We're looking, okay, we're a little warm. We're a little warm at the periphery, but I think that we can deal with that. So, for the uninitiated, one of the biggest killers in this game is heat. We really have to worry about how warm, because we are out in space. We have to worry about how warm our dupes' living conditions are. We have to worry about the cleanliness of their air. And all of those things will just kind of unfold more and more as we progress. Now, let's see who's in the pod. All right, we've got a choice between sand. Joan, requires light to sleep. I do not like folks that require alternate sleeping conditions. It takes a little bit to accommodate them. Like, if their other skills were really, really, compelling, then I would say we would go for it. But for just an interest in supplying task that is moving bits and pieces around, and with, skill in carrying, we're not going to worry about him. Steve, how are we? Steve can build and operate, they all require light to sleep. I don't know if it's a new feature, but I'm not a fan. We're going to grab the sand. Now, we've got the research station complete, so we're going to set up a couple of researching tasks. But before that, let's handle dupe priorities. So our dupe skills in different activities are going to determine how well they do the task and how quickly they do the task. For that reason, we really, really only want our researching dupes to be doing researching. So Max here has the highest interest in researching. He's got the best science. So we're going to go ahead and set him up to do the majority of researching. We're also going to make him favor operating tasks. That's going to help him like run the hamster wheel here to get himself power. But I'm really not too keen on having him go out and dig. I don't think that that's really his job. Amari, on the other hand, excellent digging skill. We're going to put a lot of higher priority for digging, a decent priority for building. Amari is not terribly skilled at building, but they will need to tend to do building tasks while they're out there digging and exploring and constructing. Let's see, what else? I'm not going to worry. You know what, we're going to say none of you to decorate. None of you have an interest in art. Now, what does Gossman do? What is Gossman good at? Status, errands. Not the cot, the Gossman. There we go. Bio has interest in building, supplying, and tidying. Let's go to construction. Why did we pick Gossman? I think Gossman has an interest in construction. Okay. I kind of answered my own question. Not a lot of skill, but he's got interest. He's got spirit, which means he's going to learn fast. So we're going to kind of reverse that there and say, Gossman, your priority is to build. So that is a start. Now with our priorities set up, let's get some basic farming. You know what, I'm going to go, we're going to get some basic farming here done. This is going to unlock the basic planter box. Yes. We've got to unlock the basic planter box here, which is going to let us actually get some farming done. And I'll let them carrying on. Cool, we've got some water in the wash basins. That's good. I would like to place the farm down on this level. So we're going to go ahead and excavate out that space. Going to put a floor in so we can actually build the thing. Here, it might go deeper. Yeah, I don't mind having this little gap between the two sides of the ladders. Dupes can jump a one wide gap without fuss. It's almost like it's no space at all. So we're going to go ahead, build some space down there, build the ladders down there. I might want to build farms a little bit deeper, but I think this will be okay. So the reason that we're putting them underneath the living quarters is we can see kind of these colors oscillating and vacillating behind them. That indicates what kind of gas is filling up the space. So we can see here, as our dupes are breathing and existing, carbon dioxide is pooling down at the lowest level of the base. So oxygen rises. If we had other lighter gases like hydrogen gas, it would rise even higher. But for now, we're really just kind of contending with the oxygen filling up the chamber and the CO2 that our dupes are breathing out. CO2 will prevent our food from going bad as quickly. So by putting our farms down here on a little carbon dioxide trap, it's actually going to improve the shelf life of our food just for free. And it sounds like we are done. Cool, let's get some planter boxes down. Yeah, fill this whole thing up. I want to say offhand, like 4 planter boxes creates enough calories for 1 dupe. I used to know these things. So we're just going to kind of build what feels right. In the meantime, let's get a little better power storage. This teeny battery is doing fine for now, but our dupes are going to have to keep running back and forth with this hamster wheel to charge it up. Let's build a little bit better power storage. There we are. Get the mealwood in the box. Mealwood is a solid all-around plant. Importantly, it doesn't take water to grow. Apparently, just pouring dirt on it is fine. You know, I've never played XCOM. I should really give it a try. I feel like it's always been like at the periphery of what I've been interested in, what I've played, but I haven't given it a shot yet. I got a little pet in the bathroom. Oh, that's so funny. Love these little shine bugs. They're good for morale. They're also very slightly radioactive. There we go. Gonna build them a ladder all the way down because we are dropping these muck roots and gonna let the dupes pick them up and grab them for food. Actually, I'm gonna let them put them in this ration box so they have a place to actually store that stuff. All these default foods, like I was saying before. Yeah, I think I'll give it a look at some point, maybe over the week. That's very cool. But yeah, so all of these kind of native foods that just exist in the soil, it might be buried here or there. It might be a muck root, it might be a seed. They don't go bad. But I do want to put them in a storage vessel so that one of these hatches doesn't go along and eat them. Ah, buddy, you almost made it to the bed. Good try. A for effort. So peaceful. Gossman's not so happy. Oops. You'll get a good bed eventually. Not for a minute. We've got a lot to do before we'll be upgrading past these basic cots. There we go. Almost done with our planters. Yep, and now that mealwood's growing. Mealwood is horrible. Interesting. Do you recommend that I play through like the base game and then hop onto the expansion, or just grab everything and go? Let's do a little more research. What do we want? Wood heater. Oh, we're not on a cold asteroid. That's new. I have not played the Frosty Planet pack. Oh, that's cool. Let's pick up our next level research table. This is going to give us access to everything to the right on this list. it's in time to install that jumbo battery. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Right, we're gonna go ahead and hot swap that so Max can actually take a break. Without a battery on the power grid, he's just gonna run and run and run and keep going as long as their building's consuming power. So, Gossman, please, please bail Max out. He'll just keep going. He'll actually get a lot of, he'll get a lot of athletics trainings for it. I've seen, especially if we like have spare time where we've got dupes that are idle, we can build ourselves a little dupe gym where the hamster wheel just powers light and nothing else, and they work on their athletics. For now, though, we need every spare bit of labor we can get. Ooh, they get some skill points. Ooh, that's new. Oh, that's cool. All right, welcome to the skills menu. This is what lets us actually specialize our dupes. So I think, considering Gossman has an interest in building, and this is what we need the morale for. So every dupe based on the way that they spend their time. So here we can see, you know, they have a baseline of 1. Gossman's got 1 from the latrine, 1 from the downtime. Like, we've got downtime built into his schedule, and he appreciates that. He's got 1 from barracks, and he's got 1 from learning a skill he's interested in. His morale here is good. So because he's learned a skill, there's a morale drain. The further along we get in a skill tree, the more morale they'll require to be happy. If that red morale drain ever gets higher, or morale need ever gets higher than the morale they have, they'll gradually accumulate stress. It's not fatal, but we want to definitely keep an eye on that. As we get our dupes better living conditions, better decoration, more fun things to do, we'll be able to specialize them further and put them into either more intense skills or get them more skills down the tree. But for now, 1 or 2 skill points to start off with won't hurt us much. For the most part, that's just going to increase the speed at which they do some of the regular activities, but they are necessary for things like advanced buildings, advanced research, piloting rockets, all of that goodness. And he gets to have this nice little hat. Look at him go. Oh, downtime. Thank you for the hand washing. Yeah, we probably have. Yep, these things are encrusted with food poisoning germs. But as long as we keep washing and sanitation reasonable, then we should be relatively fine. I remember, I think also in an early access version of the game, when they first introduced slime lung, which is a respiratory disease caused by some, like, slimy biomes. I'll point one out if I can see one. This isn't it. This is a rusted biome. But yeah, in slimy biomes, like, oh, here's one. Yep, this slime has slime lung germs. It was, like, fatal. It was almost, yeah. Native immune system? What native immune system? Well, it feels that way sometimes. Bristle Blossom, what do you have? What is that symbol? I don't know. But yeah, it was like that. Is like dupes would get sick and die very, very quickly from contracting slime lung. These days, it's still unpleasant, but it's survivable at the least. Thank you. Food's a growing. Research is a going. Ooh, somebody else has a skill point. All right. Ah, the other two. Okay, Amari, we're going to continue specializing you into digging. It's actually going to let them dig through another harder level of material. So right now we can only dig through like soft minerals. This will give us access to things that are a little tougher outside of our starting biome. And Max, our researcher, this is important. This is going to enable using the supercomputer, which is required for later tier research. Yep, there he goes. Boop. So happy, so pleased. Your turn, Max. Don't look so happy about it, bud. Alright, but that does remind me that I think we just unlocked the supercomputer. There we go. Let's connect that to power. would like that 4th dupe eventually. Let's see, what are we going to want to research? I think we're going to focus on indoor plumbing. Oh, I'd believe that. Like, the biome of gas giants is, like, fascinating, but also terrifying. I think our dupes should have a break room. There we go. Do we have chairs yet? We do not, but we can get that soon. Actually, let's skip around a little bit and get that now. Should be all the way up here with food. Yep, we're gonna get some mess tables. And excavate out this space in the meantime. Now I want to be careful not to dig too deep in some of these warmer spaces, because it will gradually just cook my dupes. Oh, yeah, just incomprehensibly bigger than all of us. Who's the new arrival? Pemmican! I love pemmican! I used to be able to buy it at the store. I should make it one of these days. It's, I want to say it's like... What's the best way to describe it? Like... traditional American protein bar. It's a combination of like dried meats, fats, and berries. This stuff will last like 20-30 years properly stored. Very, very big for like exploring out to the American West. But let's see if we have any dupes that we want before we take the treats. All right, Abe digs. Which is funny. I feel like with that hair, all the Abes I've encountered in the past are researchers. We do have a good excavator, so I'm not gonna worry about that. Devin can farm. Devin can farm, but Turner can ranch. Immune to food poisoning, which is good. Starts with super hard digging, so that's so interesting. So is really capable at digging, and starts with a digging skill, but is also interested in farming. I don't know if I love that. Let's look at Turner here. Turner can ranch and supply. He has really good starting husbandry, which affects how fast that they're able to care for little animals. Innately stylish. They have a decor bonus? Oh, that's fascinating. Okay, they're pickier about food, and they have decreased bathroom speed. You know, I take umbrage to this being a downside. Some of my best friends struggle with that. We're going with Turner. Alright, so because Turner has the ranching skill, we're actually going to disable everyone else to ranch and enable that for Turner. We're really nowhere... yeah, pretty much. We're nowhere near harvesting and farming animals yet, but what we can do is also have Turner prioritize farming our crops. The way that our skills are laid out in our skill tree, and new dupes always start with a new skill. Ranching and farming lay side by side, so we can also rely on Turner to farm reasonably well. So now we can be secure in Turner having the crops under control, and everyone else can do their thing. There's your hat! There you go. Aw. Alright, now let's think about that mess hall. Also a 16 wide room. We're going to go ahead and enclose that. Now if I break through the ceiling, where will this water go? So it'll flow sideways and down. We've got a little bit of water pooling here, so actually I'm going to want to channel that down this way. I have not soaked any of my dupes yet, and considering we're a whole week into the playthrough, I'll consider that an achievement. Usually at this point, either somebody has soiled themselves, or I've dropped water on someone, or someone's gotten soaked. Someone's probably going to get drenched when we open this space up. Let's see if we have to, though. We might be able to finish construction on this room without touching that. Plumbing and ventilation. Oh, because we unlocked a plumbing level. Alright, let's keep researching. Now, I want to push fairly hard on getting internal plumbing and proper bathrooms set up. If we set up a bathroom, we can, without putting more water into the system, we can essentially just recycle and filter, similar to a I guess a satellite or a space station now in real life, is we can circulate their water and filter it such that they'll have water available to use the bathroom always. It also gives them a slightly higher morale bonus, and it's a little more hands-off from maintenance. They have to, when these latrines fill up, and we're getting kind of close here, someone's going to have to fix that, and that's labor I don't want to have to use. There we go. Finish out that room. Now, for us to have a mess hall, we need a mess table, no machines, and a certain building size. We can upgrade that to a great hall if we have a recreational building and some decoration. So what I'm going to do, and let's give it a quick pause just so we're not wasting a whole bunch of idle time. Let's go ahead to our furniture and grab this water cooler. We're going to smack that right in the middle of the room. As for decoration, I don't know if we're going to be able to get up to the score that we want, but at the least, you know what? Oh, I haven't unlocked it yet. I think we're going to put some flower pots in. Some flower pots, some hanging flowers, make it look kind of nice here. And we're going to pick that up by researching, here we go, artistic expression. So we'll go ahead and pick that up. And what we can place are these, did I not the mess tables yet? No, they're under furniture. Yep. So what we can place at least are the mess tables. So instead of our oh so brilliant dupes hopping into the bathroom to eat their meals on break time, they'll do it in here. Thank you, Amari, for fixing the roof. Eventually, we're going to want to worry about getting some decoration. It all contributes to that stress score. At the moment, we're rolling at 0 stress, so we're looking real good. But if we look at our decoration overlay, with the exception of places around like our printing pod, because our dupes consider that pretty, or around the shine bugs, because they give a bonus, it is ugly. Red zones are an eyesore. Here we can see that there's a pretty big decor penalty because of these planter boxes in mealwood. They are a hard on the eyes. So eventually, we'll clean that up and give our dupes something nice to look at. And with high decor, it's just a nice boost to morale. They're going to feel good about it. It'll be good for them to work. But for now, we're just going to kind of struggle with what we got. Although, speaking of, it seems like we unlocked some stuff. Flower pots. Great. Now, I'm going to build these out of... Ooh, retro. I didn't realize I unlocked that. Oh, cool. We're going to build this out of granite because it's going to give a slight base decor bonus, which is going to help this look good. I also think it was on the same research level. Maybe it was on the next one. Yep, we're moments away from crown molding. That's going to contribute to the overall look of the room and make it even nicer. So with those chairs down, yep, it's a mess hall. And we can hopefully upgrade that to a great hall once these are done. Uh-oh, bathroom's full. So we need to do something about that. They're going to pull polluted dirt. Polluted dirt. Have I played RimWorld? It's on my list. That's actually out of the, like, XCOM and RimWorld are two that I haven't played yet. I've spent a ton of time in this game, a ton of time in Dwarf Fortress, a good amount of time in Factorio. I feel like I haven't really broken that one up. But yeah, like, RimWorld is, like, on my list for Fortress Fridays. I gotta give it a spin. Where should I put my compost? I think we're gonna put the compost here. I've watched a ton of RimWorld. Like, it is definitely one of my guilty pleasures to, like, watch VODs of people playing RimWorld. Just when I'm chilling or when I'm going to bed. I don't know if it's the most relaxing thing to see, but it's definitely interesting. It tickles the same parts of my brain that this does. All right, we got flower pots down. Look, 4 pots for bluff briars. The plant improves ambient decor. Yep. Just a real basic plant. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy, but it's going to make the room a tiny bit nicer. Boat murdered! Yeah! Oh, oh, gosh, I am forgetting. There's like a legendary fortress of, it's not boat murdered. It's another one, like, infamous for, like, breaching into, like, the end game and the shenanigans that go on there. I love it. It definitely unlocks something different in my brain when I went from just trying to min-max the heck out of fortresses to, like, really, like, making a narrative of, like, my individual dwarves and what they're doing and just how they're living their horrible lives. I think it makes for a better play experience. I have fun. Let's see, what do we want next? So our goal here is to get to the bathroom. So we actually have the lavatories, but we're going to need a couple things to make this self-sustaining. The big one here is this water sieve. This is going to let us actually filter out the dirty water and get it back into the system. So here we're going to put these composters down. That's going to let them take care of the leavings. Yeah, one of the stories I always tell of, like, one of the insane things I've had to do in Dwarf Fortress. My spouse hates this story so much, but I had a fortress that was going really, really well. I Glove Candles, I think was the name. I think it was the Fortress of Glove Candles. And I had a really great start. My embark was excellent. I had the mountain was made entirely out of marble, was a really common material. It was really rich in ingredients for, we're gonna move it on to just normal speed here, let them really kind of go at it. I had tons of marble. I had tons of raw materials for huge amounts of brass. So all of my dwarves had, like, beautiful individual bedrooms with metal furniture, and the walls had brass inlays, and it was gorgeous. And one day, a necromancer comes to visit my tavern, and I'm like, okay, so ostensibly he hasn't done anything wrong yet. This guy's not really bothering anyone. He's just kind of drinking and, like, dancing with the goblins and, like, whatever. Okay. There was a kid who kept getting into trouble for starting fights. I forget his name, but there was a kid who kept getting into trouble for starting fights for months before this necromancer shows up. And I see in my action log that he started a fight with this necromancer, and I see immediately, yeah, in this jurisdiction, exactly. I'm like, listen, as long as you keep the lab horrors over there, I won't mind. But I see in the action log that this kid had been cursed with vampirism. Apparently, he had, like, many times before, gone into the tavern with the intention of picking a fight with one of the adults, harassed this necromancer, and he cursed him with vampirism. So I'm sitting here with a vampiric child, knowing that I can't evict him. He's a kid. I can't evict the kid. I can't exile him. I can't attack him because he's a citizen. I can't attack him because he's a citizen of mine. I can't exile him because he's a child. And I know it's only a matter of time until he starts biting people, and I lose my entire keep to vampirism. So, that's when I came up with the Child Crusher 9000. I built a little room, and the little room was his little zone, and it's the only place he could go. And he eventually went there, and that's where he stayed. And that entire room was under a pulled-up drawbridge, and that drawbridge was operated by a lever on the outside. So I put this vampiric child, who got vampirized by his own fault for being too annoying, and I put him in the room, and I threw the switch, and then I threw it again, and he was gone. And I saw the notification, so-and-so has been missing for over a week, and I'm like, oh, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? I hope they find him. And so I built a stone memorial in his honor, and there was a little bit of grieving, and I think some of the dwarves were relieved he was missing. And that was it. And I kept that chamber around because I refused to be threatened by vampires ever again. I think he had it coming. It's a little harder to do anything just so deliberately abstruse in this game, but also the dupes get themselves into more trouble on their own too, so it's really kind of a give and take. I I definitely had a dupe that kept throwing himself into lava on a previous playthrough. We're gonna see if that happens again. We're a little too early to see. That's why I love that game. Listen, all my takeaway from it is that if a necromancer is choosing to be polite today, maybe leave him alone. Maybe don't wander into a tavern looking for a fight with a necromancer. I did try to find his tower. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it anywhere on the map. Thank you, Turner. Thank you for your contribution. We're gonna automate power here eventually. Yep. Trap and extrude. Trap and extrude your vampire child. Yes, absolutely. I've done it. You look at me. You look at my stream and tell me you've not trapped somebody as an art goblin. I have friends in real life that I repeatedly threaten to trap as an art goblin, and they know how serious I am. What were we gonna put up here? I feel like I was gonna put something up here. Ah, we got the space. We'll figure it out. Let's take that out so we can get a little bit of access to that water. On the quest for internal plumbing, so I think we're going to use the rest of this space for the bathroom, just kind of upgrade it from what we've got. So I think we can go ahead and start to carve out the rest of this room. Yeah, exactly. Listen, if I was a little more employed at the moment, I'd pat myself in the back, call myself a patron of the arts, and then trap one of them in my basement to make paintings. All right, what do we got? I don't want to go overboard with printing new dupes too early. Oh, that is scary. I do not like mouth-breathing dupes. There you go, Liam. Maybe you wouldn't take so much air if you weren't doing that. Ellie's good at construction. Ellie's good at digging. I have dupes that are good. Let's go with the food. We're just gonna make some food. All right. On our quest for internal plumbing, we've got sink and lavatory. We've got a water sieve. I really want this liquid reservoir. It's going to make our lives slightly easier. But I think we can start laying this thing out. Oh no, that's the best. I love that. I had saved, of course it was on Reddit, but of course I'd saved some picture of somebody's kitty doing the same. They were like stretched completely out lengthwise, real tiny cat, stretched out completely lengthwise with their little hands over their face. I was sitting there crying in the middle of my workday because the cat was too cute. Yeah, let's get some bathrooms. Ah, we need more metal. Okay. Easy. We have got copper galore. There we go. Please fetch that for us. There's plenty up here too. No other obvious deposits that I'm missing. That hatch is eating something. Yeah, I kind of want to get to all this, get to all of this goodness. Ooh, look at all the decor options. You know what, y'all can have some flower pots. There you go. Let's make this a little schwanky. I'm gonna put in corner trim here and corner trim there and ceiling trim there. Give y'all a nice place to eat. There, decor bonus is looking real good. was losing it. I was losing it. We were watching, so my partner and I were watching a video on just the enormity of Daggerfall. I don't think it occurred to her how, like, I don't think it occurred to her how Daggerfall the whole game is. Like, I'm trying to explain, I'm like, this game is the size of Great Britain. It is the size of Great Britain. It is a procedurally generated ancient game. Like, it is... Would you agree that it is, like, the only experience of its kind, and the only way to describe it is Daggerfall? Like, I'm scared. I am scared to take the plunge and try it myself. Just walk around in a heavily pixelated wasteland. I think fondly, every now and then, about just, like, right when Skyrim was new and fresh. Yeah. It's... I hear there's some interesting stuff going on in, like, ESO. Like, it's actually a pretty decent, like, continuation, I guess, of the game, and some of the, like, the art looks beautiful, some of the lore is just super duper interesting, but I don't know if I'm in a place to do, like, another Elder Scrolls game. I don't know if I can give up that much of my life. I definitely tanked my grades super duper hard the year that Skyrim released. Isn't that looking nice? What is our decor score? Okay. Oh, ooh, we hit 120 in the cleaner areas. Did we get the upgrade? Yeah, it's a great haul. Okay, +6 morale bonus. That is fantastic. Stress is still looking like nothing. See, usually when people see me playing this game, they accuse me of some pretty horrendous OSHA violations and crimes against humanity. And then I point out, they're not humans, they're dupes. Yeah, I kind of noticed that from a lot of the, like, I will consume lore on any topic for hours. Like, that is my bedtime story. These days it's been a lot of Tolkien, but I'll do it with Elder Scrolls from time to time, and I was interested to see how many, like, how many little, I couldn't even recall a specific detail off the top of my head, but it seems like they paint in some more of the interesting spaces. Yeah, exactly. Like, it seems like they really paint in some of the weirder spots and some of the more interesting spaces. And I appreciate that a lot, especially, like, my only experience with an MMO is Warcraft. And I feel like there was almost a hesitation, at least in the period of time that I played, to get into some of the stranger elements of the story and some of the stranger elements of the world. And I'm like, nah, give me the weird. Give me the weird, give me the strange. Like, Elder Scrolls is a fundamentally, like, Tamriel is a fundamentally weird setting. Like, there's just a lot of strangeness going on there. Oxygen, great. Food, pretty okay. Dupe mood, excellent. Let's see if we can get any positive, like, reactions. So our dupes each have a high morale response and a low morale response. And if, that's really fair. There's a high morale response and there's a low morale response. The low morale response are things like crying, fighting, screaming, throwing up. But the good morale responses include things like singing and putting stickers in places. So considering our dupes are in a pretty good mood, let's see what they do. They seem to be doing pretty okay. I like how they curl up like a little cat. Like, they pull their legs up into them and everything. Now, I think... Was it Max? Max, were you the one? Max is the one that has a bonus to nighttime. So I think that's a good opportunity for us to mess with their schedules. So here I've got the default schedule. I'm going to rename this day shift. And I'm going to add a new schedule here. Just call it night shift. So, if we want dupes that are doing stuff during the evening... Oh! We want dupes that are doing stuff during the evening. Then we want working hours during this block. Well, working hours during this block. We'll put downtime hours during this block. We'll put sleeping in this block. And bath time here. And then we're going to... Oh, and then we're going to move Max to it. And that will give Max a stat boost during the evening. I love that. It's like whatever finished happens to mean in this context. Now I want the rest of this space open because we're going to do a little plumbing in a second. There we go. I wish we could find a few more decorative plants. But what we can do is put more corner trim and crown molding in just to make this bedroom look a little bit nicer. Oops. Here, we're going to do that here. I'm just going to copy on down from here. Make everything out of granite so it's nice and pretty. There we go. Alright, so we have these lavatories. And now I have to think, and that makes me mad. Alright, so we're going to play for the first time on this stream with the plumbing UI. So here we have pipes. These move fluids of any kinds, water, liquid salt, radioactive waste, any of those things. These are going to supply water. So these bathrooms are supplied from the inlet with clean water on the bottom and dirty water out of the top. So we're going to go ahead and just pump that off from the top there. We're going to say that clean goes up the left side and dirty comes back down the right side. So here we've got our basic layout. Our dupes are going to start putting in our plumbing. So we're going to want to put in this reservoir as a kind of buffer. Is what this will do is catch any of the extra liquid that we don't want flowing back to the toilets. It is actually going to stockpile just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of water for us. Dupes, when they use the bathroom, excrete slightly more product than is required to flush the toilet. So we're going to cash in on that? Okay, y'all can write it down. This is questionably ethical management decision number 1. We're going to stockpile recycled pee, and we're not sure what we're doing with it yet. But, so we're going to go ahead and place that here. We're going to have an outlet there. We need to have something to actually clean that. So we're going to go ahead and put in this water sieve. Now we're going to connect the outlet from the water sieve to the inlet of the reservoir. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I didn't even give, although was that maybe it wasn't an egalitarian move? What was the most ethical choice there? I think about this sometimes. Like, what would have been the most ethical thing to do there? Is do we chain the vampire dwarf as a laborer for the rest of forever, owing to the fact that he is now immortal and can toil in infinity? Or do we release him to prevent an epidemic? These are the challenging decisions you have to make. Sometimes you've got to gently, sometimes you got to gently dip a dupe in lava to get done. Sometimes you got to make them cook with their own pee. As long as it's clean, it's sanitary. The water goes into the reservoir, gets clean, and comes back. This is how all of us live. So what I'm going to do here, do I want a bypass? Yeah, so we're going to get a little bit tricky with our plumbing. So what this is going to do, and this is actually to prevent clogs, is The way that plumbing works, yeah, exactly. Listen, we were all raised on that stuff. We know what we have to do in a pinch. So the way that plumbing works in this game is that if fluid in a pipe encounters, and it's same for gases too, if we do when we do ventilation later, if fluid in a pipe encounters a bridge like this, it will all tend to flow into the bridge. What that means is that any of our water that's cleaned in the sieve is going to prefer to bypass this tank and go right to the bathrooms. So we're only going to stockpile extra water when all of our plumbing is full. And that's just going to help us a little bit with keeping our bathrooms topped off. There's a couple other things we have to do. So we're going to need an inlet to actually get water into the system, and I'll explain that in a second. But here we're going to need... There we go. This we actually don't need. So here we need the supply line for the water, and similar to the way that this pipe is working, we're also going to attach this pipe here. We call this sometimes bridging on with plumbing. So if water is, or if a fluid is coming from two sources, one is coming from kind of a main line and one is coming from a bridge like this, the water in the bridge will wait. It'll actually queue until this main pipe is completely clean. What that's going to do for us is make sure that all the water is drained from this waste pipe before it actually introduces new water into the system. And that's all to make sure that our bathrooms don't clog. It's a little bit of redundancy, a little bit of safety engineering to make sure our bathrooms don't clog, because I do not need to be cleaning up dupe mess off the floor. They won't like it, I won't like it. And now we need to run a little bit of power to these things. Find seeds yet? No. There we go. Eventually, you know what? So we can actually see as these composters are composting, they're off-gassing little bits of polluted air. It's not the worst for now. Like, if I go ahead and look at my materials overlay, yeah, I'm not seeing huge amounts of buildup, but, like, it's a thing we gotta be cognizant of, is as we're cleaning, we're gonna off-gas a little bit of nastiness. So I think while the rest of the team is down there constructing the rest of the bathroom filtration, I'm going to research these deodorizers. It's an ionic breeze. It's a HEPA filter. It's just going to filter out any kind of pollutants from the air. And all of this kind of forms a closed system. So I guess it's kind of one of the big things to think about with, like, oxygen not included as a survival sim, is it's really a and actually your point about Bear Grylls is really, really relevant here, is it's really a management game of, like, looking at how can I exploit sustainable loops of resources. So the dupes are going to produce excess fluids because they're eating and they're consuming more stuff than is necessary to flush the toilets. So they'll do that. It's going to profit us a little bit of water. We're also going to get polluted dirt from this sieve, which will then compost into soil, and the off-gassing from the compost is actually useful for filtering into clay, and it's a whole thing. So we're just going to try to kind of capture all the waste, make everything as exploitable and as efficient as possible. Who's showing up today? Oh, you're good at wearing suits. It's a little early to worry about that, but what do I need? We have a farmer, we have a farmer-rancher, they can do both. We've got a builder, we've got a researcher, and we've got an excavator. So I think I do not like this rock fan trait, especially because we don't have much in terms of meteor showers here. What can you do? You can farm, you can supply, you can build. So you're actually pretty versatile, but you know, we're taking a try on Nails. Look at him. Look at how happy he is. All right. Yeah, come to the party, Nails. Sure. So we're going to use Nails as a bit of a gopher. So Nails, we're going to have work on supplying, storing. We don't really want Nails digging or building. We don't want Nails farming. Operating is fine, I guess. We really don't want Nails cooking. Actually, we don't want anyone who's not trained in cooking. I should have picked up a cook. We're going to let Nails tidy, supply, Nails can't ride the rocket. So Nails is just gonna run around supplying buildings and cleaning stuff up. Nail! Oh, that's so funny. There you go, Night Owl. Good for you. So, Max here is getting a special bonus because he's got that Night Owl trait, but sometimes splitting up the dupes between different shifts just like it relieves lines on like the bathroom. It means that our facilities can go a little bit further. I'm gonna bring us down a little bit. Yeah, it means our facilities can go a little bit further. So like it's reasonable sometimes to just kind of stagger him across a couple of shifts. There you go, Max. Have your wriggly, horrible Millwood. There you go. Job well done. Oh, it's too bright for Max to sleep. Ah, it might be a shine bug shining in through that mesh door. Oh, hi, Oatmeal. What are you doing? It's time for the puppy tax. You came to stream. It's time for the puppy tax. No, I don't want to go to the up. Aw, come here, Mama. Come here. Come here. Oh, what? Oh, what? Oh, what? Oh, what? Puppy tax. Puppy tax. It's time for the puppy tax. Oh. Oh. Where are you? Where are you, Oatmeal? Aw, I can't get her on cam. That's okay, sweetie. Let's see if we can spy her a little bit. We're gonna go for a little bit of a ride. There we go. Oh, it's the Oatmeal. It's the little Oatmeal. Oh, and Finn, the kids are all here. Aw, sweet pups. No, Oatmeal is our foster. We are fostering for a friend who did a little bit of moving back in the spring. She's back and living with her parents who unfortunately can't take the dog. So we have, so Oatmeal's staying with us in the short term. But no, she is sweet. She gets along well. They're very, oh yeah, she feels like a Brillo pad. No, she is super duper sweet, but I am not her mom. I am evil stepmother. I'll look at her as she comes down the stairs at the beginning of the day and go, "Oh, evil stepmother, I love you." All right, okay, we got a lot of stuff done. All right, load the bathroom. Y'all gonna load the bathroom? Now let's see if this works the way that we were hoping. So we're gonna throw the water in there. It's gonna get picked up by the pump. It's gonna move through the system into the bathrooms. The tanks are filling. All right. Our toilets are primed. We have indoor plumbing. All right. Okay, you're never gonna have to use an outhouse again. Yeah, take your time. There we go. Throw in some sinks. And these are just like the lavatories. They're gonna do the same thing as those wash basins, but they actually have plumbing. Oh, we're a little short on metal again. All right, let's get some more. There is plenty of copper hanging out up here. Ugh, yucky water. Get rid of it. Let's see, with those built, let's get them connected. We're gonna have one here. We'll place that here, get all the piping. Yup, Using the bathroom. Thank you. Thank you for your deposit. I think that's max. Yep. All right. Cool. That's built. I think we just found the metal for our last sink. And let's put my favorite thing in there, crown molding. I've got a little bathroom pet. Now let's go ahead and put that deodorizer in here just to keep any of those nasty gases from making their way back up to our base. Bathroom, looking good. Mess hall, looking good. Bedroom, could be better. I think it's okay. What do we want to take on next? At 5 dupes, we're going to probably want to think about food a little bit harder. Although, it seems like we're in pretty good shape. We're going to be going through 5,000 calories a day. We're getting a good amount from our farm here. Power. Let's worry about power. Everything is being powered by this little hamster wheel. I think we can do better. So we're going to need to pick up a little bit of research for that. I want these smart batteries. And I'll show off what they do once we finish the research. You ready for use? Yes, just about. Good. There we go. So dirty water into the system, into the filter, overflows going into the tank. Yeah, working real nice. Alright, that's A research done. I think that was some of our power stuff. Oh, just wire bridges and coal generators. Do we have much by way of coal? Let's look at it. Oh, we got a fair amount. We got a fair amount. We also could set up a hatch ranch. That'll get us a little bit of coal, a little bit of food. Give our rancher a little something to do except for run on a hamster wheel. Do I have insulated tiles yet? Not quite. Once we get that power unlock, we're gonna start thinking about that. So I mentioned a little bit before that really heat in a lot of ways is gonna be, oh, these are new icons, that's nice. Heat in a lot of ways is gonna be our biggest nemesis here. We want to make sure that we are controlling where heat comes from. We really don't have good ways to get rid of heat right now. We don't have a way to kind of actively cool the base. And that is dangerous. If our base gets so hot that our crops start getting stressed, we are in trouble. And it's actually pretty high tech to put in a robust cooling solution. So we've just got to be smart about what we're building and where that's going. So I do not want to be putting a big old coal generator right in the inside of my base where it's going to cook everything. So I'm going to want to, actually, I'm going to skip ahead and do a little bit of research on insulation tile. This is going to consumes wood to melt ice into water. Oh, okay, for the cold maps. That's cool. So I'm going to go ahead and research this insulated tile right here, and we're going to start thinking about what's outside of our base and what's inside of our base. That way we can be very careful about our heat generation inside the base, and outside the base we can put things that are hot or off gas or generally dangerous, limit our dupes' exposure to nasty chemicals a little bit. Who's got skills? Everyone's got skills. All right, Amari, you're going to get the next level of digging. Gossman, you know, yeah, we're just going to go with better construction. Here we go. I was thinking about diversifying him. I'm really thinking of moving him eventually into mechatronics. He likes carrying, too, and mechatronics lets us put in a little more automation, which is eventually going to be really, really great. Max, we're eventually going to get everything here. This is going to give you telescopes. This is going to give you the geotuner and geographical analysis. We're going to want materials a little bit earlier, so we're going to go ahead and put you into field research. No. You like carrying? You're going to carry, bud. There you go. Here's your little hat. Here's your little beanie. And Goss Turner likes ranching, so we're going to give Turner an upgrade and a new hat. Upgrades! There you go, team. Good work. Now, I think it was probably in time to get our... No, we don't have our research done yet for our insulative tile. That is okay. So if I look at where things are warm and where they are not... This chunk of uranium is freezing. So strange. If I look at what's warm and what's not, this space down here is pretty hot. I think I'm going to want to start capping off the base down here along this line and just keep all of that heat out. Or, in a sense, keep all of this cold in. Yeah, we're pretty idle. I think I'm going to unleave... I think I'm going to start excavating out this space, get access to some of this water and some of the oxalite in here. Just do a little bit of tidying. Give them something to do. Having idle hands is a rare thing, and I want to make the most of it. No plans. What the stupid little sounds they make. Aw, Amari, are you trapped? Not for long. There's nothing dupes love more than getting themselves wedged into places they can't get out of. Printing pod! Ooh. That, I think, might be a decorative plant. Stinky. Oh, Nisbet, my darling. Those skills are compelling. I think it's a little early. I think 6 dupes at this point is straining it a little bit. We're gonna go with whatever this horrible pike apple. Pike apple. Can we plant the pike apple? No, it's a food crop. Interesting. Well, we're gonna find out what that does later. I've never seen those before. My spouse just chortled at Nisbet, my love. Irredeemable, I guess. There we go. Insulation, baby. And this is more than anything just going to buy us time. Time for if it gets too hot. Eventually, we're going to work on... Actually, probably one of the first things we're going to do once we have the interior of our base really nicely set up is to get some form of active cooling solution in place. But this is just going to do a nice job of keeping the hot outside and the cold inside. Hey, what did I just say about being trapped? Oh, come on. And he's so happy about it, too. There you go. Get down from there. Yeah, we're going to keep all that toasty material on the outside. Keep our dupes on the inside. Keep the inside thoughts on the inside. Now, for patience, we can excavate out this space without exposing ourselves to this delicious chlorine gas that it won't kill our dupes, but it'll be extremely unpleasant for them to encounter. Although it does sanitize them, so there are upsides. But no, we want to make sure that they're not encountering that, and we're not flowing chlorine into the base when we don't want it. It's got its applications, but this is not one of them. What else can we research? Let's start thinking about getting our actual oxygen under control. So we're going to produce the majority of our oxygen from here out using this electrolyzer. We're gonna use electrolysis to make it from water. we're doing okay with the algae we've got. We got plenty of algae saved up, but we don't want to rely on that as a permanent solution. We can't farm algae. We really can't readily get it from anywhere, so that does not make for a good long-term solution. We're really going to want to find some sustainable sources of water and start electrolyzing that to get our oxygen. Ironically enough, I really don't want to use the pee because it's full of germs. Yeah, it's got like 800,000 and slowly dropping food poisoning germs. This tank is nasty, and if we try to electrolyze that for air, it's gonna aerosolize it, and that's not good. So once we're feeling a little more comfortable about setting out outside of our initial starting area, we're gonna root around for a little bit of water, see if we can find a geyser or some renewable source of it. But for now, I just want to research the parts I need to be able to get up to that. So we've got our electrolyzer. We've got a way to move gas. Yep, I'm gonna want some sensors. We're gonna want some sensors. I'm not gonna talk about that too much now, but when I build the thing, we're gonna talk about sensing and automation and really, oh wait, I don't want to do this because the sand's going to fall through and then I'll lose this water pocket and then everyone will get drenched. We almost did it! We almost soaked my dupes on accident. Much better than the outhouses. Oh, that last bit of coffee was all grounds. Ugh. Oh, that was gritty. Oh, that wasn't good. I'm a coffee fiend, but I don't need it that badly. Thank you, Max. So diligent. There we go. He's gonna go to the bathroom, get some chow. I wonder if there's a way for me to get into this without completely flooding my base with chlorine. This plant's gonna get in the way. I'm gonna get as far as I can. And we're gonna see what happens. There you go, Mari. You can keep going. Insufficient oxygen generation. That is a bad sign. Those numbers are really, really similar, so it looks like we're consumed just about 300 kilos of oxygen, and we made a little bit short of that. It could be because our whole chamber here was at maximum gas pressure, and that we didn't actually need to produce much more. This is gonna... I gotta cancel that. There we go. If Amari had gotten through that chunk, it would have gotten gas right up into the base. Or a little bit on the edge there. So... yeah, it's possible that I'm showing that we didn't produce enough oxygen last cycle because we were at max gas pressure. What I'm going to do here is actually drop in a couple of these airflow tiles. So these let critters and dupes walk on them and prevent liquids from moving through, but they're gas permeable. And what this will do is facilitate slightly better flow through the base. So if I look at... there's stinky gas down there. I'm going to let that be. But if I look at, say, the bottom of these living spaces, occasionally you'll see little bits of CO2 that'll build up on the corners. It's not a huge thing, but sometimes you might find odd rooms that have just like a little bit less air than others, or you've got odd rooms that are pooling CO2 or a weird temperature or have trapped like polluted air. And that's just because there's not a lot of vertical airflow between these floors. This is going to help facilitate that. So it's also going to help us kind of get more oxygen into the parts of our base that are a little harder to reach. So yeah, it looks like everywhere our dupes can travel is really well oxygenated. Hitting all of this oxalate up here probably had a lot to do with that. But let's see. If I dig up and then down, does that do it? Does that get us there? Yeah, I think it does. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of this pincha plant without actually getting into this pocket with the chlorine, because I really want to tile this out to kind of cover all of this space. Gotta think about where to put a hatch ranch too. See, I always get into this trick with this game, is like I get stuck in my head about doing 14 different tasks at once and then just cycle between the stuff that I remember. Like it is a nightmare for any kind of neurodivergence. Let's see. So we're gonna want electrolyzers to make the gas. We're gonna want sensors to keep our pressures nice and balanced. We're gonna want this hydrogen. We're going to want hydrogen generation, and actually we're going to want a little bit of heavy watt wiring to handle it. So basically what we're going to build is what they call in like the oxygen not included community, they call a self-powered oxygen machine, or SPOM. We're going to electrolyze water into oxygen and hydrogen. The oxygen is going to go to our base to breathe, and importantly, it's going to do things like power some Atmos suits and like fill up atmospheric suits so we can explore into some nasty places. We're going to burn the hydrogen for the power to power the whole thing. So it's actually a power positive, like very slightly power positive system. So we can kind of set it and forget it. Right now, our oxygen is slowly eating through our algae, and it's also like consuming a little bit of manual labor. Oh, look, he's so happy. Balloon artist. Yeah, this is an overwhelmed response. Oh, that's great. But yeah, so if we get a self-powered oxygen machine up and running, it's going to give us way, way more oxygen for essentially no work. Like, I want to say one of those things, or the one that in the size that we're building, gives enough air for like 16 dupes or something. And like getting a nicer size workforce would be kind of cool. So we got through that successfully. So what I'm essentially doing here is exploiting the fact the dupes can construct on the diagonal without opening up a cavern. So we can see here Gossman was able to build that without having an issue. And so we're going to kind of use that and take advantage of that little quirk of the way that buildings are constructed to create a nice little chamber on this side. And I think this is how we're going to do our access to the outside. I think we'll do a nice little kind of like decontamination corridor just in case we pull something nasty in back with us, and start to set up our power generation on the outside, kind of on this right side. There is this slimy biome here, which is full of disease and nastiness, but honestly I think that's a little bit easier to deal with than like all of this unbreathable toxic gas down here in this space. Oh, look at them. Oh, it's a Dreco. It's a woolly lizard that I think Clay makes plushies of these. But yeah, so I honestly think that like stinky oxygen is slightly easier to deal with than like unbreathable toxic air. So we're going to kind of move in this direction. There we go. It's pure, it's clean, we love it. I respect environmental air standards so much. There, we're going to insulate that. Also a good amount of coal out here too. All right. There's there's a couple versions of them. Look at them when they're little. Like I think it's half the reason I want to get into at least some or animal ranching before the end of stream is just the babies are precious. They're so fuzzy. Then there's the glossy kind. They have plastic scales, like they metabolize into plastic. Look at them. There's definitely plushies of these. And I think they're the only two versions of the Dreco, but yeah, I love the stupid little animals in this game. It's so good. What's in the pod? I think we're still a little early. Oh, Bubbles. I love Bubbles. Usually, Bubbles have excellent skills, except this one only wants to farm and is allergic to flowers. So, I'm sorry. Not dreadful, not dreadful. I think we need to get some of our essential systems under control before we print anyone else. So we are going for the pemmican, yeah! Now I want dry beef and cranberries. Aw, Amari's in a good mood too. Pleasant chit-chat. Yeah, so they'll actually get into these habits when they're in a really good mood that also further improve their stress levels. So because Amari here is having pleasant conversation with the other dupes, they're actually going to raise the morale of the folks around them. I caught one of them too before. I think it was Max, was their balloon artist trait activated, so they were handing out balloon animals to people, which improves stress. So it's very precious. The way that they'll do this and that to like alleviate each other's stress when they're in a good mood. I don't think this will break anything. Nope, we're good. No chlorine in the base. Excellent. Gotta get up in here and then get that one taken care of. You losing traction there, bud? Aw, so serene. Yeah, we're sliding a little bit. Strange. Haha, yes. Another decorative plant. Thank you. Now let's see. Yeah, I want a nice wide kind of decontamination corridor. Eventually, this is going to give us a nice space for us to put things like Atmos suits or like, I don't know, there's a there's a sanitizer if we want to, or we could actually pump the chlorine in and the dupes will, it's kind of like a tumbler that they'll clean materials up in if we really want to worry about that. So having a nice long run here that's insulated from the outside is really handy. It's also going to get us over this chlorine pocket. There we go. We're chatting and whatnot. Although we've got a lot of idle time. Maybe, you know what? I think I am going to get moving on getting some hatch farming up and running. That's going to give us a pretty sustainable source of coal. It's also going to give us a sustainable source of meat or eggs. And that's great. So for that, we're going to need to research ranching. That's going to give us, yeah, this is all the basic supplies we need. Excellent. About to be excellent. Now, if I break you, the water will flow this way. So I think I'm going to try to get all of this water from the off side of the base, from this up in this top section, and I want to get it down into this basin. We're probably going to get a little wet. But we've got 0% stress here. I think we can afford it. I think we can tough it out. Plenty of room in the tank. Bathroom's running. Blessed symmetry. Give me another plant. Thank you. We could also, considering we've got a little bit of spare labor, these dupes are going idle every now and then. Yeah, oxygen's definitely up there on the list. Because our dupes are going idle every now and then, we could start to send them to, like, clean up some of the spare rock and, like, filtration medium that's lying around on the ground. Yeah, actually, why don't I do that? I'm gonna go put some airflow tiles in here, just to, like I said before, facilitate some vertical airflow throughout the base, keep it so that this is moving. This is going to be really important for when we put in like proper HVAC eventually, because without that flow we're going to get like weird hot spots and cool spots, so we gotta think about how everything moves in the base. So I think we're eventually going to want to gather things like getting all of the sand, which is how we're filtering the nastiness out of our bathroom water. Get some of the sand nearby this sieve, get some dirt nearby our crops. And none of this is going to be a particularly high priority level, but it's just going to give them something to do if they're between tasks or they're waiting for something else to be done. These, the stuff on the ground, if I throw on the decor overlay, has a very, see debris down there in the negative value traits. It's going to have a very small but additive debuff, being on the ground. So if we pick up even just the smallest amount of random debris and clutter, it's going to look better for us. And because we've got Nails here, who is our dedicated gopher, they'll do a good job of picking everything up. So we still need to go a little bit further. What else to research? Well, that gives us our hatch stuff, which is good. Now, thinking back to power, yeah, let's finish that battery. Food's looking really good, which is encouraging. I know we've picked a couple of food options for our last few prints, and that's probably bridging us a little bit. Oh, look at how wiggly they are. It's nasty. Mealwood. Mealwood is a bramble-like plant that has parasitic symbiotic relationship with the nutrient-rich meal lice that inhabit it. Ugh. Mealwood experience a rapid growth rate in its first stages, but once the meal lice become active, they consume all of the new fruiting spurs on the plant before they can fully mature. Theoretically, the flowers of this plant are beautiful color of fuchsia. However, no mealwood has ever reached the point of flowering without being overrun by the parasitic meal lice. Ugh, they're worms. I didn't realize that. I played this game for like 8 years, and I didn't realize that they were actually worms. Ugh. I hate that. I'm sorry. Gross. Alright, smart battery is done. We don't need nat gas. Aha, yep, we're gonna need to be able to make a little bit of refined metal. So we're gonna pick up this rock crusher. And it will all make sense soon. Aw, Amani's still doing really well. Super focused. Aw, good for you. Stress 0, food high, things are good. An unusually low number of OSHA violations for me. Yeah. Alright, it's a little toasty here, but now we can start to see as we're blocking off sections of the outside with these insulated tiles that we do have kind of that heat gradient. I'm actually going to go ahead, and now that I've dug down a little bit too, also start to seal off that section. Are you a full 18? You are. Okay. So eventually, we're going to use this space here to make a water lock. Essentially, we're going to use a small pool of liquid and make our dupes dive through it to completely isolate the gases on the outside of the base from the gases on the inside of the base. That's going to prevent us from getting contaminated with everything from chlorine to rogue hydrogen to whatever other nastiness we find out there. I'm not going to make them do it yet because getting wet has a super duper bad morale bonus. And it is, it's not good. So we're going to kind of brave the outside here and just be selective about where we go. That sounds trippy as anything. Although it's funny you say that. I'm not Doom, but I was getting kind of the bug for Cyberpunk again. I always seem to play that game, like, during the winter for the last 2 years. So I guess, like, I mean, it's only twice, but for the last 2 years I would go, oh no, maybe it was 3 years now, because I got into it after the anime, is I would hop in and jump like 200 hours into the game, like really turn the thing inside out, get my fill, and then just walk away for another year. I want to put this deodorizer here because I really do expect some nasty air to get in once we break our way into this slimy biome. Just like the rest, I'm going to go ahead and put that there to block out that chlorine. So I think think I'm gonna put an airlock here. Now, airlocks still let a little bit of air in and out when dupes traverse through the door, so it's not going to be a perfect seal. We're going to want to be smarter about that eventually, but for now, I just want a little bit of something. It's for me, it's more about isolating the temperature. These are made of metal, which makes them a little bit more... They'll conduct heat from the outside, so it's kind of a race against... our base overheating. It's kind of a race against gases infiltrating, but I think we'll be okay. All right. Ooh, hi Harold. Harold and Lyra. Morale bonus when in space. That'd be lovely if she had the rocketry trait. Harold has the rocketry trait. Harold's actually not bad. A little early for you, guy. A little bit early. I don't quite need those traits yet, but that's okay. 22 cycles in is a little bit early for this stuff. Now I think we accessed that rock crusher. So I really wouldn't want to put these industrial machines inside of the base. Later on, we'll be moving it outside. They're a little bit hot. They make a lot of heat, and that can be really bad for our crops. But we want to get just enough refined metal that we can start to get our power up and running. Oh my goodness, yeah. I did the same with Skyrim. It's just all of the deconflicting. Done that with Minecraft. I've done that with a whole ton of games that, like, I feel like I get my satisfaction from getting all the mods tinkered away, and then by the time I'm there, I'm like, great, I'm gonna go take a nap. It's a movie time. So here, we're gonna want a little bit of refined copper for just a tiny bit of automation, and that'll make sense in a little bit. So we've got coal generators, we've got automated batteries, we've got high power lines. I think we need to actually pick up automation wire. Yeah, and once this is... Ooh, oh, a light sensor. Oh, that's new. Yeah, once we have all of those, then we'll have everything we need to really kind of increase our power. But let's tunnel into the next biome. So I want some space to actually place this stuff. No, I get that. Ooh, Nat Gas Geyser. Okay, this is free fuel. It will also scald the heck out of our dupes if we touch it, so I think we're just going to not worry about that until we have Atmos suits and something that's a little bit more temperature resistant. But that is good to know. That's handy. We're going to be able to exploit that with some natural gas power fairly soon, I think. Ooh, research done. That gets us our automation wire. Yeah, we can see Gossman here is fighting to breathe a little bit. Excuse me. So fortunately, this stuff is breathable. Unfortunately, it's full of germs. So as long as we're filtering the air from this nasty biome, from the slime biome, we should be okay. But yeah, definitely staying in here and tunneling deep here is not an option until we get some Atmos suits. So I think I'm gonna need a little more refined metal. We gotta get a little further along with this stuff. You have skill points. Nails has skill points. Nail, good for you. You know what? Do what you do. Do what you love. Keep going. Keep going. You are most valuable parcel carrier MVP, parcel package supplier sweeper. throw a power transformer here. Ah, come on, team. I guess I have no one that's prioritizing operating. We're so close. Um, yeah, so the way that this game handles power for the uninitiated, and we can actually see here with that current load and potential load icons, is that there's high wattage power, or there's high wattage power, and there's low wattage power. Low wattage power lines can be run through walls. They're what you're looking at right now. They're really, really easy to run, but they will break if they're given too much power. High wattage wires look ugly, can't be passed through walls, are a nightmare for dupes to look at, very expensive, but they can handle like tenfold the power. So the way that we're going to do our power for this base, and how I typically handle power for these bases, is I'll run our power generation all on one big high power grid, and we're going to essentially step it down where we need it in the base. So we're going to generate our power on kind of the high side here and step it down to the low side to actually use in the base. So I think, ooh, we got access to some gold. I'm not going to worry about using that yet. Gold is a little bit more temperature resistant as a material in this game. I'm not sure why. I don't know what logic that flows from, but yeah, it's a little bit more. Oh wait, no, we need room for our power cutoff. But yeah, gold is a little bit more temperature resistant as a material, so I'm gonna save it for where we need high temp applications. Yep, now we have enough for the battery. Super cool. So what this battery does is it's gonna let us turn our generators on and off depending on how much power is in the system. So it is going to enable the generators if and only if our battery is at like 80% power. Or, excuse me, 20% power or lower. What that will do is allow us to, rather than just burning coal and burning coal and burning coal, it'll let us only use what we need. And that is critical when at this early point in the game, every single resource matters. Every piece matters, every block matters. So here we're feeding it in high voltage, and here on the low voltage, we're just going to connect it to the base. And once we have this set and we're supplying it with power and life is good, then we can break up all of this power generation inside. We're still looking pretty good on algae. We've got 10 tons. I don't need to keep that eggshell there. But yeah, we got like 10 tons of algae in storage. That's plenty. Food is actually looking pretty good too. So I think that we're doing all right. Once we've got power a little bit automated, we can move to working on ranching and thinking about food a little bit. Maybe getting this water all pooled in a place that makes a little more sense. I also don't want my dupes out here a huge amount. This geyser is going to cook this area. This comes out at 150C. And that is extremely hot. It is very dangerous. It's going to, yeah, we can see here it's very, very warm. It's going to bake the outside. Look at these horrible things. Paku, little space piranhas. Alright, in you, we are going to put in coal. Just coal. Gonna throw our coal in. Put the coal in by where it's used. Thank you, Gossman. Nah, I was gonna drop that water in. Alright, lovelies, it is 9:05. I'm gonna take a quick 10-minute break, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Need a little bit of air and a little bit more water myself. See you in 5. All right, running a little bit late, but we are back. All right, let's see where we left off. Okay, power generation. Let's do this. Make them endure the horrible toxic gas for only a minute. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of pollution up in here. Oh, poor Max. Yeah, we do not want them to deal with this yucky lungs debuff. It's going to make them consume more oxygen, ruin their mood, and just overall be a pretty bad time. All right, this battery is built. Now, I'm going to adjust it from the ends a little bit, so we want these generators to kick on before the batteries run completely out, and we want them to kick off before they completely top up, just because, like, there's a set amount of power made every time that these generators, like, consume a material, essentially, and so if we run it all the way up to 100%, it'll be wasted. So we're just going to kind of operate in this really narrow band. Yep, there we go. We're filtering out some of that air. In theory, just leaving a deodorizer here will clean up all of this yucky air and make it a little easier to traverse. I really don't want to spend a huge amount of time out here. Occasionally, a dupe's going to need to come outside to top off these generators. We could automate it. We could automate it and save that amount of patience too. But between cleaning things up and eventually pushing toward... There we go! There's our power! Between cleaning these things up and pushing toward Atmo suits, it's not a huge deal. So with the generator set, we are going to get rid of our happy little hamster wheel. All the exposed wiring, take it all out. We're going to take it all out and clean it all up. These generate a fair amount of heat too, so this will be good for our base and keeping our temperatures down. Yeah, there's a little bit of warmth here. Where are we going to pull water from for our oxygen generation? I think we're going to merge this pool with the other one, get it all in one place. I don't like using standing water for oxygen if I can help it, just because this stuff tends to be cool, which is nice for our base. Water that we found out in the world is going to be kind of hot. So electrolyzers will heat water up, if my memory is correct, up to like a floor 40°C, which is pretty warm. It's pretty uncomfortable for things like our plants. So it doesn't matter if we throw like ultra hot water into it or if we throw colder water into it, it's just going to come out of 40. Actually, it comes out at either the lowest of 40 or the input water. So if we put water in that's almost boiling, it's going to give us air that's quite warm. But if we throw water into it that's cold, we're just going to kind of be making heat for no reason, which is not great. Like, even beyond, like, oxygen and, like, breathing in this game is relatively easy. Like, figuring out your air supply is relatively straightforward. Not cooking your base is the hard part. Yeah, this is... I think I'll call this our first OSHA hazard, is making our dupes work out here in the obviously infected and polluted... Oh, that's icky, that infected and polluted air. That's okay. We're gonna minimize their exposure. Who's in the pod? I still think it's a little bit early for us to pick up another dupe. I really want to figure out oxygen before we kind of go that far. Yep, and now, and we're wet. We're grumpy. We're wet. We're having a bad time. This is exactly the Oni experience that I was looking for. Power use. Why are you indicating significant power use change detected? Probably just from cycling off of the new power. But yeah, now aside from like feeding the generators, our power is essentially completely hands-free, which is nice. Now, I don't think we've got a dupe with the skill to be able to do any kind of automation, but let's think a little bit ahead into the future and do a little bit of research. So this is the one that's going to get us there. This auto sweeper has a small, I think it's an 8-block radius, and it's just going to deliver stuff from inventories into machines or machines into other machines. It just kind of moves stuff around for us. If we plop one of those right between these generators, it's actually going to keep them fed based on what's in the chest. Or what's in the not chest, what's in the storage bin. I want to get all this like extra rock and such out of the way, because I really want to turn this whole space here into just a big old water tank and think about using that to actually make our oxygen. Something we need to think about too is the fabric part of our Atmos suits. Those are made with thimble reed, which is a farmable fiber. Oof, I wish I could queue this stuff. I think that's actually a higher priority. So thimble reed takes, as a fertilizer, it takes polluted water. So we can actually safely feed that our duplicate leftovers from the bathrooms, and that'll go just fine and kind of give us a constant, slow supply of fiber. We can also feed it with some of the polluted water from outside here. So I think we're going to invest in doing a little bit of both. But for that, first we've got to unlock these hydroponic tiles, and that's going to let us actually plant the plants. Just chilling in the bathroom. There we go. Yep, that's eventually what we want to be growing. This wild one, if we could get to it safely, which the answer is heck no, we can't. We could harvest this. Gossman, you look bored. Let's fix that. There we go. That's just gonna get all that polluted water and hopefully all these Paku in one place. Paku are pretty okay for eating. They're pretty low maintenance. They're not too challenging to farm. There's a little bit of setup that's involved in getting that going, but it's not really the biggest deal. I'm just going to go ahead and tunnel into that to kind of facilitate this egg eventually making its way into this pool. There we go, and they're just going to flop. Yep. Alright, join your friends. Ugh, they were not happy about that. Forced to swim through just an icky infested pool, I wouldn't either. Yep, those are all wired up. There we go. Because I think what we'll do is we'll dig out the space for our water tank down here a little bit more. I actually want to run this insulation a little bit lower just to keep the heat out. Now you can really see the gradient between outsider base and insider base. Then I think we're going to drop this water pool and this water pool, maybe this water pool, all into this collection basin down here, and then use this space to start getting a hatch ranch up and going. Food is relatively okay, but if we get a better source of food and a better source of oxygen, we can take on a chef the next time that we have an available dupe, and that's going to be big. The food that they're eating now is just like the weird random raw stuff that we're finding around from the base, and they do not feel the happiest about having that as their only nutritional choice. So we're going to get our dupes some slightly higher quality food. Barbecue, which is made with cooked meat from critters that we ranch and that we farm, is excellent food. It gives a really high morale bonus. It's very filling, but we definitely have to build up a nice population of critters to get there. So if we invest ourselves starting now, we'll get that as a nice payoff. Oh, we are suffocating. Why are we suffocating? Oh, Gossman. Please, somebody get him out of there. Okay, we're good. Oof, we almost lost one. We almost lost one, chat. Oh, Not good. But we're safe. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay if you're okay. Oh, just losing a dupe, especially this early, is miserable. Miserable. I won't say that I consider my dwarves disposable, but like, stuff happens. Stuff happens to them. Dupes hurt. Losing them, especially ones that you've invested a lot of time and skills into, is terrible. So, well, I'm gonna do my best to actually try to keep them safe. Where are you going, Nails? Nail. Getting algae? Okay. All right. All right. Suit yourself. Okay, so I think we're ready to start getting all of this water a little bit lower in the base. Freeing up some of the space topside. They are going to get kind of chilly. They are going to get kind of soggy by doing this, but they want yummy barbecue. They're going to have to live with it. Max, why are you holding the door open? Can you please not hold the door open? Why are we doing this? Can I move you? Can I tell you to go places? No, because I have the door selected. I need to select him. There we go. Please close the door. Thank you. Actually, we can upgrade this. Because we have a stable source of power. It is possible to traumatize your own dwarves. We were... Last week when we were playing Dwarf Fortress on stream, I did have one of my first 7 dwarves, starting dwarves. One of them did get crushed by a tree, and his friend that saw him do it was in a horrendous mood about it for, I want to say, years. We got through like a year or 2 on stream, and he was miserable about it. And like that at the very least made sense. Like, going out as a colonist to a new unexplored land for the mountain homes and seeing your buddy get crushed by a tree, not just on day 1, but in like hour 1 of setting out, yeah, that's pretty horrible. But occasionally you'll get unlucky and they'll have a memory about getting caught in the rain that gets stuck and becomes like a permanent part of their trauma. But yeah, they carry horrible traumatic memories. I was about to say, maybe they should get therapy, and I'm like, wait a second. There is literally a job for that. That's why, like, it's actually kind of important to invest in, like priests for temples, is they provide therapy for dwarves. Sometimes dwarves will get the mood bonfire of, you know, felt better after discussing their problems with someone. And that will... It doesn't... I mean... I'm about to feel a little bit real right now, but like it doesn't fully undo the trauma, but it lets them live with it, and that's important. Nah. Dupes have no memories to speak of. Oh, he's so chilly. Shivering, sopping wet. Sorry, Max. Let's cap this off. It's technically part of the base, but I want to make sure that like we think about this area as kind of like a sterile zone. So this is where, actually I should probably do this with insulated tile, is we kind of think about this as being a little bit more vulnerable to some of the elements. So we're going to go ahead and lock that in. Like I said, once I have environmental suits, we're going to fill this up with some water and really isolate the gases between the inside and the outside, just so we don't risk getting some of this yuckiness indoors. And then I think this region up here is looking ripe for a hatch ranch. Oof, Amari, thank you for your sacrifice. Hey, looks like we got a water lock accidentally too. Alright, that is actually just going to do exactly the thing we described. Oh, we're not doing good. Slime lungs, so they're sick, they're chilled, they're sopping wet, but they did have a nice conversation. Oh, we are not doing good. Good job, buddy. Oh. Yeah, why don't you go recover? You've done enough. You've done enough. My little horrible fake 3D printed creature. There we go. Mop all that up so we're not dragging our feet in the wet. They're gonna have no choice but to get a little bit soaked when they go through the airlock, but for that brief amount of time, it might not be the worst. It's kind of worth it to not have to deal with some of the environmental issues that are happening outside, and it's only temporary. So now, let's think about doing a little bit of ranching. So to ranch, we're gonna want, this is a specialized kind of building, so we're gonna want to have this in a little isolated space. So we are gonna want to build this into a little bit of a box. And I think because they are everywhere, they're good for fuel, they're great for meat, they're okay for eggs, we're going to ranch some hatches. So I'm going to take a peek at their database. Okay, they're going to want 12 cells of space for each critter. So we're going to want 12 cells of space for each critter. I'm going to kind of want 8. I think I want 8 hatches. So I'm going to go ahead, pull up on a second window a little calculator. 12 cells of space times 8 is we're going to want a 96 big ranch. So if I divide that by 4, which is the height, we're looking at like a 24 wide room. So it's like a 24 wide room. So it's going to break our grid a tiny, tiny bit. I'm going to want... You're going to see in a second, we're going to want a dividing wall, so you're going to probably want internally about 25 squares. We're going to probably want about 25 squares on the inside. Which is going to bring us out to here. And this will be the outer periphery. Actually, this is a really great place to do maybe just an outer wall of our base entirely. Go a little bit wide on these outside spots. Should really thermally isolate this. Oh look, our mood's recovering, although Turner isn't one of the ones that got soaked. They are hungry, but... Ugh, I should have put that in before. We're gonna get some polluted oxygen up into the base. That's fine. We've got air scrubbers. Actually, let me, just for the sake of being thorough, let me go ahead and put a deodorizer here, get that on a little bit of power, just in case a blob of polluted oxygen floats by. It'll clean it up. Of all the nasty gases in this game, that's definitely the easiest to put up with. Alright, so we're working on our little hatchery. Gonna build out the rest of this wall here. Throw up an outside wall, keep everything inside nice and cool. So while we're working on that, let's do a little bit of the layout for our hatchery. No power, oh, because we haven't finished the wire. So let's finish the layout for this hatchery. So I think that critters stations are under here. So for animals to be happy, they need to be groomed. So we're going to need a grooming station. They need to be fed. So they need a feed station. I think that's about it. Oh, we need a place. We need to have a place to drop them off. So we're going to need a drop-off here. And that's about all. So hatches don't really need much else. So we're going to do something cheeky, and I learned this, I want to say from Francis John, or one of the other excellent YouTubers that run a ton of Oxygen Not Included content. So what we're going to do is our hatches want all of this space, but they don't need to be able to explore it, they just have to be in a room with all of this space. I guess we're getting into another possibly unethical conundrum. So we're going to pack all of our hatches into this little room. What that'll do is instead of them kind of free roaming all over the place, it's going to keep them here. So when our dupes come to go and take care of the hatches, they don't have to travel as far. So we're going to go ahead and set that up. I want to say that we're going to need a 1 block offset here. Yeah, like right now it's not considered a stable. What are we missing for it to be a stable? Yeah, it's just the room is enclosed. It is too big. But as they're working on that, I think we can set some of this up. So for feeding hatches, if we can, we're going to want to feed them sedimentary rock. So when ranching animals in this game, I'll actually go ahead and I'll bully this little hatch here, and we're going to look at their database entry. So animals in this game have a variety of different types called morphs that they can be, depending on their diet. They'll actually evolve, or they'll morph into a different version. So the default hatch here is it's pretty standard. It can eat most kinds of food. It can eat food. It can eat some kinds of soil. It can eat sand. It can eat organic material. They're kind of like just a trash bin. They're like our asteroids goats. Is they eat all sorts of stuff, convert it into coal, and eventually die, giving a fair amount of food. The sage morph is a specialized version that only eats organic material, but converts it to coal, I want to say, at a slightly better rate. They can also have a wider range of foods. But what we're really looking for is We're going. They can eat a lot of stuff. We're looking for the stone hatch. So the stone hatch can eat a ton of different minerals. And even though their conversion rate into coal is a little bit worse, per like coal mineral ingested, we're going to have so much stone that we won't know what to do with it. It's just going to pile up in the base. We'll never be able to construct enough. So in order to encourage our hatches to turn into a stone hatch, we want to feed them sedimentary rocks specifically. So we're going to load this feeder up with sedimentary rock and sedimentary rock only. Every successive generation of hatch will have a slightly higher chance of morphing into a stone hatch. Here we're going to put hatches, hatchlings. We haven't discovered any other critters. We also want... Oh, where is the thing that defines how many critters go in this space? I think it's the pickup now. They've changed this a little bit. But let's look. Looks like our stable is finished. We see 96 tiles, which is exactly what we wanted for 8 hatches. 96 tiles is the maximum size. Why are you all splashing around in the airlock? What are you doing? So to pick up these hatches... Ooh, can you cook? Can you cook? Sorry, it's going to be a suit. Oh, who's going to wear the suit? Amari's having a bad time. They can have the suit. So in order to actually use the... wait, we do have ranching. Turner can ranch. Well, now, Turner, you're allowed to ranch even better. Congratulations. Here's an even cooler critter ranching hat. So for that, we need to capture some dupes and throw them into... Oh, we don't want those. We can't do anything with those. So we want to capture some hatches, and we want to put them into our enclosure. Let's see, are there any hatches hiding in here? None in there. Aha, 2 there. Oh, a sage hatch. There's always a baseline, very small chance that they morph into something else. So, like, that's neat. I don't think we're gonna, like, exploit it for anything, but, like, that's cool. Occasionally you get some rare morphs that just sort of happen. There's a whole other system beyond that of, like, critter evolution and all of that insanity. Now, I think that we can wrangle these without traps. Yeah, only duplicates with the critter ranching 1 skill can catch critters without traps. That is fine. For some more advanced animals that we might encounter this playthrough, ooh, party dot storage bin. We would need to lay actual traps, and those are made with like plastic, which is complicated. But for now, we just need old Turner to go and net them. And then pretty soon they're going to start turning all of the stone into delicious food and critically important coal. There we go. And I'm just going to throw these storage bins here because it's a really convenient place for us to put leftover sedimentary rock. We know we're going to be feeding it to him anyway, so if we have dupes that have downtime, let's have them just take it close to where it's going to be used. Are we going to do any catching? What are we doing, bud? All right, Turner. There we go. Oh, and Turner is feeling so happy. Center of attention. Oh, because I'm watching them. I forgot that it gives actually a small stress bonus if we observe the dupe, which is unbelievably sinister. There you go. Yep. Got that hatch. Dropping it off in the hatchery. Looks like they already tied that one up. We're gonna go bag that and bring it back to the farm too. I really want to hang out and wait for Turner to go and actually groom one of the animals, but this is important too. Might get that extra water out of here at some point. There we go. Nice. Where are you going? Where are you going? Do you have more hatches? There we go. So this is why we keep them all nearby, is now Turner can just call them from a very short distance over to the grooming station. So by doing that, they're all going to get a little groom buff, they're going to be happy. Eventually, their wildness is going to decrease, they'll become domesticated, which will improve their reproductive rate, but also increase their calorie consumption. Like, wild animals can pretty much just exist for forever, but they'll only reproduce once before they die of old age. Once they're domestic, they'll just keep on cranking, but we do have to constantly maintain them. So that, I think, is well and on its way. We've got our little starting hatch population. If we ever happen to find more, can I use the UI to see how many we have? Critters 4. Yep. So we actually have room for quite a bit more if we find more hatches. I think there are probably some more. Oh, like that right there. I knew I saw one more. Yeah, there you go, Turner. Go bring him to the happy farm. Yeah, so we've got that set up. We've got that set up. We've got our hatch ranch. I think as we start to overflow our population here, we can put another level up there. I think it's time to start thinking about plants. Start to think about plants, and once we handle our plants, we can get some atmosuits. So I want to take advantage of our leftover wastewater from our dupes. So because we want to make sure things get bad really fast if we ever run out of water in our toilets. So we want to prioritize getting water into the toilets first. So what we're going to do here is, like I mentioned back when we set up the bathroom for the first time, water moving through a pipe always prefers the first outlet that it gets to. So as the water flows from the bathrooms and the receptacles down the pipe, it's first going to try to fill up and go to the sieve. Once this whole leg is full, any of the remaining runoff will make its way to these hydroponic plots. And let's see if we have the seeds for this. We do. We have a single thimbleweed seed. Excellent. So, in order, let's watch it here. Let's watch it go. So that's a pretty fair amount of wastewater. That's a pretty fair amount of wastewater. I might actually want to disconnect that tank at the end, because that, I don't think I want to store the spare water as fresh water. I think I want to divert the wastewater into the thimbleweeds. Yeah, like, we're not going to get anything in the thimbleweeds right now because all of our water is going into this tank. So I'm going to very simply disconnect it. Now it'll kind of back to the thimbleweeds. See how we got water backing up in the pipes? It'll back up to the thimbleweeds, and now all of our wastewater will go to fertilize these plants. We can also just gather the stuff from the outside. I can put in a pretty high yield thimbleweed farm, like, right here. I think because we've got a relatively stable source of power, and this is sitting over a big stinky pond of stinky gas just waiting to be sanitized, I'm going to run this over. Something I also want to be on the lookout for is mush caps. Mushrooms are a fantastic source of food. They're very caloric, they're high quality, they can be grilled, to improve their quality. The cooked version of meal ice isn't actually any better from quality. It just doesn't go bad as easily, so I don't ever bother. I'm like, hey, you know, if you're going to be eating garbage, let's just not put any extra power into it and waste our time. But grilled mushrooms actually are quite nice. So those are fertilized with all of the slime around the map, and the slime only has limited other uses. So what I'd like to do is start to kind of clean up this biome and maybe do a little bit of mushroom farming out here. I definitely, with some of this space, want to get our oxygen production up and running. It's not the worst to take some of this standing polluted water and just filter it. Oh, looks like we got salt water. Oh, poke shells! They're terrifying. Oh, look at them. Oak shell? What? That's new. Oh, those are adorable. Apparently they're docile, too. Yeah, poke shells are cool. They consume, like, polluted dirt, so they basically consume garbage and spit out sand, which is kind of cool. But their main purpose is they molt into, when they grow up, they leave their molts behind, and their molts are a source of calcium as a flux for steel production. So that actually can be really, really handy. That's cool. Yeah, I forgot these like naturally sanitized tanks of water, which is kind of neat. But yeah, they're good to know, good to have. We'll figure out how to make the most of those later. Wild animals are so. Why are you all just splashing in the waterlock? Okay, whatever. But like wild animals provide so many opportunities in this game. Let that be a lesson in conservation and kindness for all of us. If you hunt them down early, you get nothing. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop that down there just so we can start to do things like pick up these fillets that this natural population of fish are leaving behind. Although we do want a kitchen. I think we do want a kitchen. So our power supply here is a little on the burden side. If everything on this node fires at the same time, it's going to overpower our circuit, it's going to fry our wires. That's unpleasant. Nothing dangerous is going to happen, but like it's just a pain in the butt to deal with. So what I'm going to do here is I think I'm going to put another transformer up on this level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect our big power grid up to this next level up. I'm going to go ahead and put a floor there. I'm going to put airflow here. We're going to go ahead and dig up. Maybe we'll find some goodies buried in the mucky soil. Oh, Amari, you are not physically well enough to be doing that. There we go. Yes, big ol' ugly expensive wires. And if we can start to tap some of these reserves... Oh, that is a lot of thimble reed. That is cool. So actually, if we tap that, we might be able to get to our Atmos suits a little bit faster than if we grew it all ourselves. So let's go make sure we've got the research we need. Atmos suit, hazard protection. Is it... It's here. Aha! All right, we got to do a little bit of textile producing, but then that'll unlock Atmos suits, Atmos suit forges, Atmos suit docks, and everything we need to kind of send our dupes into some horrible environments and its scalding temperatures and freezing temperatures. Let's see. Now I've neglected some of the heat creep on this side of the base. Okay, it's not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and start to seal us off here. Just lock us in on both sides. Make sure that we are doing what we can to limit the spread of heat from the environment into our base. Nice little air gap there. Leave them those ladders for traversing up and down. Are we actually getting enough water into these plants to meaningfully fertilize them? Probably not. We don't have a lot of dupes. I look forward to getting a much a much more robust workforce up and running once we figure out how. Really, it's power and food. Oh, not power. We got power. Power is okay for now. As long as we've got coal and ways to produce it, we're going to be okay for power. It's, I think, in order of priority for us now, it's going to be oxygen, food, and then cooling. And cooling is a little bit complicated. Cooling is going to be a little bit challenging. That's going to call for some advanced materials, but really what are you doing down there? Yeah, that looks miserable. What are you doing, bud? That wasn't a very smart move, Gossman. Yeah, that wasn't smart. Think about what you've done. Think about your choices. Make better choices. Aw, poor Max. Max is sleeping or sick. We should put in a hospital. I never think about putting one in until all of a sudden someone is like scalded or grievously injured and I feel powerless to do anything for them. We should put in a hospital. I think we'll put it in above this habitation layer. This whole side's ending up kind of nice. It's giving us this little like hab deck. It's comfortable. I think decor levels here are actually pretty respectable. Yeah, they're pretty good. This is a little bad because there's so much debris on the ground and the bathrooms themselves don't look great. Can we do drywall? Oh, we can't do drywall yet. Gonna knock all that down so this water flows into our reservoir. Ooh, okay. Okay, there's a steam geyser to the north, or just up? I guess it's up here, it's not really north. But directly above our base, there's a steam geyser. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. It is cool, but cool in this case is like emits at emits at like 115 degrees. So that is still way, way too hot for us to handle in a way like that's reasonable at all. So we've got to do a little more infrastructure before we can take advantage of it. But if we are able to tame some water geysers, then our troubles for oxygen are over. And we can start to, if we can get really good with cooling water, we can plant some plants that really, really are thirsty, like bristleberries. There's some fun plants that are really nutritious and good for our dupes, that the only reason they're hard to farm early is they just take a lot of water. And water isn't the hardest to come by, but cold water, like this 20-odd degree water, that's a treat. And we have to use it sparingly. Yeah, we're doing okay. We're generating a little bit of heat from pretty much the oxygen diffuser here and like our research buildings, but it's not too crazy. All right, looks like we just completed something. Probably one of the prerequisites for our Atmos suits. Yeah, we're dropping stuff. Thank you for the construction, bud. We appreciate it. How are we doing here? They're happy. They're reproducing. Eventually, we're gonna want to get their eggs out of this ranch. There are ways to automate this later on. We are nowhere near it. Oh, cool hair, Freya. You must come from the cold update. I've never seen this dupe before. Unfortunately, none of them cook. Bedside manner. You're good at medicine. Shriveled taste buds. Oh my god. Shriveled taste buds, uncultured and yokel. This Hassan is just a specimen. An absolute specimen. Now we're gonna pass on these and hope for a chef on the next round. Almost took that Hassan just because it seemed so stupid and so earnest. I mean, none of these dupes are particularly bright, but they try. Yeah, we got some capacity in the basin. I think we'll drop this one. Dupes can mine 4 high above them, which is another reason to kind of use this 4 tall grid. As a dupe standing on this floor level can construct to any height within this space. How many of you are there in there? There's 5? There's 5. Nice. I guess I could just start stockpiling other minerals here too. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. If we've got some idle hands, why don't I just fill this whole thing up with some storage bins, and we'll set our dupes to stockpile every mineral there, not just the sedimentary rock that these are gonna eat, because if we do successfully evolve them into stone hatches, which we can check our odds here. Alright, it's going up ever so slightly. If we do manage to successfully evolve some stone hatches, then they'll use any of these minerals. Like, we've got literally tons of sandstone that we can afford to feed them. Oh, ain't that nice? A little shine bug out here, but that's okay. Sweetles! Oh, it's like one of my favorite pet names. Aren't they cute? They're so interesting. Like, Sweetles evolve into a completely different animal called a grub, and they essentially tend to, let's see, what is the plant? They tend to grub fruits. Yeah, they tend to grub fruits. So the animals, like, form, like, this very interesting, like, symbiotic relationship. It's we might start farming there. Definitely on biomes that start off with kind of this rusty biome. I'll focus on that instead of mealwood. But for here, we might get into that just to increase food variety or diversify our food sources a tiny bit. But I'm not particularly fussed. The big payoff from farming these Sweetles is they output sulfur. And sulfur is a fertilizer, although sulfur is just a fertilizer for these fruits. So it's all kind of neat. It's just a way to get low-tier food. Cool, we let all that water down. I just want it in one place so I can build the infrastructure once and not have to worry about it. Yeah, we got that diffuser working, slowly cleaning up this gas. And it's kind of a balancing act between all of the things here that are emitting polluted oxygen and these diffusers that are cleaning it up. Yeah, we're getting nowhere. Maybe we have to cycle this a little bit more. Ugh, so weird. Ugh. Gross. I feel like we're in a very calm moment. I don't know how long this is gonna last. Although we don't have anything too crazy planned. Maybe. I don't know. Building the oxygen infrastructure could go kind of nasty. Kind of bad. Do we have nat gas floating around? No, I don't think so. I'd like to keep the nat gas in with the nat gas geyser until we're ready for it, because it is hot, it is hard to manage. It's very handy, it's very good, it's very good for power, but we're gonna try to wait as long as we can before we start messing with this stuff. Besides, we're not using a ton of power. Coal and coal infrastructure is gonna be fine. I think we're gonna give our buddy Max, I was gonna say a break from researching, but looks like he just needs a break from everything. Yeah, he should be recovering from slime lung relatively quickly. I could throw him in a hospital bed. I don't think I've got hospital beds researched, do I? No, actually, we could go ahead and put together a hospital. I want to put it up here. So we've got a couple more structural things to do before we get to that point. Give me as I adjust. Oh, so pleased. Aw, soft friend, how sweet. Yeah, they do have little social lives. It's not nearly like the depth of connection you would see in like a Dwarf Fortress where they have like complex memories and all that, but like they like to get along. They like to chat. I don't think we need any of this stuff super duper soon. Let's go back to researching some of that automation, just to save us a little bit of time. I don't think we've got the skills to install it, because I'm going to rely on this Gossman here, and I think I want to get us up to mechatronics engineering, which it looks like it's going to take us a minute to get all the points for, but like he's got the morale for it, so we might be able to do it just fine. There we go. We might actually be able to see if we can get a little bit of this polluted water to our crops. Yep, working as needed. It's going to be a very, very slow process. 7% grown. Okay, but at least we're utilizing it all. Looks like we just got that open. Super cool. We're going to set this up here. Raw mineral, all of it, except for sedimentary. We put sedimentary in the others. Make the sweeping priority here really low so nobody's not really canceling any major tasks to come and clean up the various rocks around the base. There we go. And just if they're bored, they'll go do it. I was going to say, sorry, bud, you have repeatedly, I mean, that's unfortunately the charge of being, like, one of the excavators or builders out there, like, right in the front of everything, is poor Amari has had to step in everything, just all the mess and water and gross. I'm going to have to mop out the dining hall. I did this to myself. I said earlier in the stream, it was a wonder I haven't created a huge mess with water, and here we are. Here we are doing it. We are actualizing this. Much better. Nail. Isn't that a face? Oh, poor guy. Dude, you're making no progress. What is going on? I shouldn't be laughing like this. Oh, bad day. All right. At least Amari's feeling a lot better. Good. Oh, look, they got their little tags, little name tags. Can't really name them, but yeah. There we go. Do we have any eggs in here? I'm not seeing any, but they are. Yep, they're making coal. They're doing the thing. Oh, what with me cackling like an absolute crazy lady at Turner's poor miserable face as he's mopping the floor. Not Turner, Nail's poor miserable face as he's mopping the floor. they always look so miserable. Like I think Turner's gonna go for it. Like. There. Oh, just for a moment, you just got that just sour expression. All right, so we've got some open space here. I think I'm gonna be responsible, and I'm gonna build a hospital before I need it. All right, so for a building to count as a hospital, it needs a medical equipment, which I think our cots count, a toilet, a mess table, and no industrial machinery. So what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of put a single bathroom stall in this space. So we're going to put in a toilet and a sink. We're going to put in a couple of triage cots. We need, do I want 3 triage cots here? How injured do I plan on my dupes being? We're gonna choose aesthetics. We're gonna choose aesthetics over sensible design. So I think because we do want their environment in general to look pretty nice, is I'm gonna put in 2 flower pots. We're gonna put in 2 of these mess tables that'll satisfy that requirement. Let's go ahead back to our medicine menu and see, can we get, how many of these can we get in? Just 2, but that's okay because it lets us put in more flower pots. There we go. Listen, if you're gonna be in the dupe hospital, at least make it a little bit nicer. There we go. Gonna put a lid on that. Leave some room for a little bit of airflow. Look, more water for me to flood my base with. There we go. And because we stacked our hospital right on top of our existing bathroom, we can kind of just use the same infrastructure. So we're going to go ahead and branch that clean water supply up to here. We're going to take our dirty water return, run it through the ceiling just like last time, run that all the way down. Now for us to be able to put in the roof and the plumbing, we have to be able to access that, but it shouldn't be too big a problem. I'm going to run some stairs up. We're starting to run into kind of a weird biome. How's our temperature? Not great, so maybe we're going to want to think about this space here being the topmost part of the base. So I think as we finish construction there, we're just gonna put a cap on it. We're gonna put a nice cap right there. Keep all of that hot air and hot material out. How's our thimble read? How far have we gotten? I can't even see because there's not enough water. 12%. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Alright, getting this put into place now is going to give me a little bit of peace of mind. So, in this game, hospitals don't quite help with, like, diseases. I mean, they do. So, like, the actual stated purpose of a hospital is they're most less likely to spread disease. These cots aren't what are used to recover dupes from disease. That is done with... oh goodness, I think it's a medicine, like a Bacta tank almost. It's a little medicine pod, but we can compound medicine here too, and that's what actually helps them out. So if a dupe here is under like a certain amount of health, they'll come here for immediate triage. And that's what we really want to kind of prepare for, is like, for God forbid one of my dupes decides to take an absolutely ridiculous path and they end up stepping into, like, I don't know, some horrible scalding water, then the other dupes will bring them back and put them in the hospital. So it's definitely good to have this up and running before we need it. There we go. Please mop this place up. Knock that back just so the water flows nicely down into our basin. I think I might be doing this just because I'm stalling on oxygen production. I'm like, dupes of hazard. That's excellent. Yes. You understand the assignment. Now, because these are a little bit tall for our dupes to reach, we're gonna give them just a little ladder across. We'll deconstruct these once they're done with it. All right, do we have a chef? Oh, Liam. Wait a second. Catalina requires light to sleep versus bottomless stomach. Ugh. Converts radiation exposure into calories. What? Is Liam radioactive? Oh, we gotta do this. Okay, I gotta see. Oh, I do not like that Liam needs additional calories. However, I think I can just put him in a tank with a bunch of radioactive material and it feeds him. I'm a little upset. All right, I'll figure out how to make the most of that eventually. But for now, we actually have a chef. Cool, you can cook. Liam, don't build, don't dig unless you need to. Supplying and storing are fine. He'll need those to be able to actually, like, operate, a kitchen. Yeah, same with tidying. Like, you can do them, but, like, maybe don't. So let's see. I think, considering our mess hall is here, this looks like an excellent spot for a kitchen. There we go. Nice little enclosed room. Get some airflow. Did we ever finish this? Oh, we did not. Craziness. Well, I'm gonna need more power for my kitchen, so we're gonna go ahead and just queue this up. They might get to it, they might not. Who knows? Yeah, I think we're gonna run this up and over, and that's gonna power our food. If we get to it. They'll hopefully get out here to do something. There you go. We went from having no tasks to significantly overburdening my entire colony. As is the trend. No water, probably because... Oh, is it because you have... Oh, output fight. Yeah, they didn't finish the output yet. All right, well, Liam, Chef of the Stars, let's get you set up. Grilling, there we go. Amari, our excavator, super duper hard digging. All right, there we go. We're gonna increase your excavation even further. Max, great job on the research. We're gonna grab you applied sciences. Good field, fun field. Oh, Turner. Oh, Turner, or not Turner, Nails, or Gopher. Let's make you better at gophering. We're gonna give you some tidying skills. Enjoy your chef hat. Boop. Nice. So for a kitchen, we're gonna want, naturally, a grill. We're gonna move that over, actually. We're gonna want a grill. We're gonna want a fridge. We're gonna want some power for both of those things. We're gonna want some decoration, and I'm gonna continue over-relying on flower pots for my sole source of decor. Could I be training a dupe in art? Yes. Am I training a dupe in art? No, not right now. I know there are ways in this game to essentially get, like, power-free food preservation. Sometimes it involves, like, essentially locking a little pocket of carbon dioxide or chlorine and storing your food in there, and it just kind of becomes an infinite storage for food that never goes bad, and your dupes can access it. I don't mind using the default refrigerator setup. It doesn't take that much power, so I think instead of stressing myself out with some kind of, like, pushes the edges of this game engine to get a little bit of extra power, I think we're just gonna worry about the fridge. What I am gonna do here is I'm only going to worry about storing things which I care if they go bad or not. So it'll be things like fried mushroom when we get there, but I'm not even going to queue up cooking tasks until we've actually got a source of food that's worth cooking. There we go. Just tunnel out that ceiling. Let's see what kind of flowers we can plant here. Ah, wish I had 4 of a kind. That's fine. Got these jumping Joya, these odd cacti. Gonna hold out and see if we can find a last one here. Oh boy, look at what time it is. My favorite, crown molding. Yeah, make it nice, make it pretty. We will have an attractive base. Gonna do a little bit of flow control here, so the dupes always wash their hands. So we said, and we did this in the bathroom too, is we set our flow control so that dupes will only enter through the room such that they'll pass by the sink after they pass by the lavatory. That's gonna prevent them from coming in this left door, using the lavatory, not washing their hands, and then going back out. So by forcing them by the sink, they will wash their hands after they go. They tend to be a little bit, unsanitary in that way, unless we make things very easy for them. Our dupes are oh so loving, but oh so incapable. Do we have anything that we need have a real pressing need to research? I don't think so. Oxalate sconce stores a small amount of oxalate which gradually releases oxygen into the environment. Oh, that's new. That's really interesting. What are you? Wood block. A wood block. Ooh, I didn't track any of this stuff that came down in the latest DLC. This is fun. Definitely drains bottled liquids into liquid pipes. Oh, what a cute little quality of life item. That actually, we could have used that to get around this whole setup here, but it's a little bit further on. What nice little items. I haven't played in a little bit and haven't seen some of the newness. Yellow and exit. Yes. Sage hatchling egg. Yeah, we got some eggs in there. Who got a skill point? Gossman got a skill point, and Max. Alright, well, Gossman, your automation, our hopes and dreams rely on you, so we're going to train you up real hard. Max, we'll just kind of keep investing in your science. There you go. I don't see fall and draw protection on you, buddy. So. Aw, thank you so much for hanging out. It was great chilling in with you. Have a nice night. Get some sleep. Hug the kitty. Tell everyone hi. Sleep tight. Just the rhythmic sound of these little construction guns. I do love the aesthetics of the game. Like, I never got into the don't starve gameplay loop. Like, it just never quite clicked with me, but like the aesthetics are immaculate. Like, I cannot name a more Burton-esque thing outside of Tim Burton himself. It's just so satisfying. And there's just a little bit of that, like, I mean, it is sci-fi here, but it just has a little bit of roughness around the edges. That's a lot of fun. Oh, thank goodness. We are back to working on our power spine. Thank you. Ooh, a thing. We got some achievements. What do we do? Pay the bills, outdoor renovations, bed and bath, royal flush. Ooh, red light, green light. Nice. All right, we can actually see some of our production stats here. Calorie gen, yeah, that has to do with the harvest. Total net production, oxygen produced, that makes sense. Yep. Yeah, we're kind of cycling all the same. Average power wasted. I think that was in the very beginning where we took that battery out of circulation, but out here, you know, nothing. No power wasted. Perfect. Love that automation. Yeah, total dupes. That's where we brought on our 6th. Work time. Travel time. We gotta keep an eye on travel time. That really is gonna be a killer. Yep, and there's our critters. Stress. Yeah, here's all the incident with moving through the water and then flooding. Very cool. Cool, we're almost done with this. Yeah, get that last pipe connected. Cool. All right. I think that probably completes the hospital as a room. Yes, it does. All right, we've got a little more insurance against things going horrendously wrong. Lots of algae, too. I guess I don't have to rush too hard to get oxygen moving. It would be nice just to get, like, a contained source that I can get into my Atmos suits. But, like, it's not a huge rush. I would like my power, though, please. Is this region kind of cool? It's kind of cool, kind of not. I think capping us there is okay. Do want that water, though. So close. There you go. Thank you, bud. What are we not connected to? Did I not connect? Oh, stupid. Didn't connect it to the main. Oh, that's funny. Coal was looking a little bit thin. I don't know if it's because we don't have a lot of coal on the map, or if it's because we haven't harvested it. Oh yeah, we have plenty of coal. We just haven't put it into the bin, which is fine. We'll get there. Yeah, get cleaned up. Making sure we've got enough lavatories for everyone. If not, then we can stretch this a little bit further by putting somebody else on the night shift. I might want to put someone there anyway. Excuse me, just to make sure that we get enough socialization for our dupes. It always helps with their stress for them to be able to kind of chat through passing. 7% stress. What did you do? Oh, tired. Oh, popped eardrums. That is a threat. Is without the atmospheric suits, every time they go outside, there is a chance, like especially if there's a big difference in air pressure, and I'll show that here. So inside of the base, and like it's a pretty comfortable temperature, like comfortable air pressure. It's fluctuating a little bit because we're mixing some gas here, but if we look here, say it's like 1,200 grams per tile, that's really comfortable. Anything above that, so the realm of like 2,000 and up, will pop a dupe's eardrums, which is a really dramatic stress debuff. And we can see out here that we're looking at like 34, 35. Like the gas outside is very high pressure. So that can be really bad for our stress if we keep putting our dupes into that environment. So there's another reason that we probably want to get... What are we doing? Ugh. Liam, you can't be doing this. Why are you like this? Buddy. Ugh. But, ooh, that return button was fun. That's new. But yeah, we want to not only control for our dupes having like exposure to some of these gases and the temperatures, but also the air pressure. Like, it is very unpleasant out here. And a fair... Oh, Liam, why are you like this? Why are you doing this? You suck. Stop doing that. Oh, they're just sweeping algae. Ugh, what a nuisance. They are just so intent on self-destructing as quickly as possible. What are you? A hot tub? Ancient spa? Oh, that's fun. We'll figure out what to do with that later. I need thimble reed. Well, actually, let me think about getting some of the pieces together to actually build our first couple of suits. There Liam is just suffocating in the pool again. His favorite sport, I guess. So I don't love the carbon dioxide buildup. So I'm gonna go ahead and add an Atmos scrubber or a carbon skimmer to this setup here. It's actually fairly similar to the bathrooms in a funny way. It's gonna take in clean water. Yeah, it's gonna take in clean water, and it's gonna output, or it takes in clean water and carbon dioxide, and then it just outputs dirty water. So it's gonna let us absorb our carbon into the same system, and it's going to filter out. Ultimately, what this is going to kind of do is turn carbon dioxide into dirt. I want to say the end of this production chain is dirt, because the carbon dioxide in the clean waters becomes dirty water. With this setup, we filter the dirty water into clean water and polluted dirt. Then we compost the polluted dirt into clean dirt. So I guess it's converting the CO2 into dirt ever so slowly, which, I mean, is cool. It's nice, and we can kind of see it operating here. It's taking in carbon dioxide and water. It's outputting dirty water. But, like, the main thing here is we just kind of want this curtain of carbon dioxide not to rise up into the base. We're always going to have some at the bottom. There are better ways we could exploit this carbon dioxide. In other ways, there are ways to convert it into, like, oil and whatnot, or use it to cultivate certain plants. But right now, I'm not fussed. I just want to make sure Liam stops suffocating. So we're just gonna kind of say, hey, anything that rises above this skimmer, we're gonna filter that off. Thank you for the power. All right. Atmos suits. Who are you? Oh no! Draco. Yeah, let's have you wandering around the base. That's fine. That's fine. We'll have a little pet. That's okay. I don't think it's gonna cause much fuss there. So if I want better rates on my reed fiber, I should really pump in water from the outside. Oh, but you're so warm. Okay, I kind of have two choices. Is I can farm for these reed fibers outside of my base, knowing that the environment out here is a little bit hostile and it's going to be unpleasant for my dupes to farm them, or I could do it inside and introduce a whole lot of heat into my base. I think that we can recover from stress. I don't think that we're going to recover as effectively from letting just a ton of hot gas or hot liquid into our base. And, like, hot liquid is really, really dangerous. It is dense. It has a ton of thermal mass, which means that, like, every bubble in a pipe is like a kilogram of material. And that, if we're talking about a liquid, is just a huge amount of heat. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to actually farm our reed fibers on the outside of the base. We're going to run the same power spine on down, and all this is going to do is pump the polluted water up from this kind of bottom retaining pond up into these farms. I would like to get in there to get those reed fiber seeds. Yeah, we're gonna try it. Whatever dupes go and do this are gonna get really upset, but, you know, Science demands it. Yeah, popped ear. No, not popped eardrums, but soppy, wet, and yucky lungs. So it's definitely forcing Turner and T to do this might be a little bit unethical, but they'll be better for it. They're gonna get environmental suits that'll make all of this complete, you know, concern of the past. Ah, yeah, and there's dust caps. We can make fried mushrooms. I might restrict Liam to not leaving the base. He's so unathletic. Like, bud, I just need you to cook. That's it. I just need you to cook. Ugh. He's stressing me out. Pike apple bush. This plant produces edible pike apple. Atmosphere, it can grow in oxygen, polluted oxygen, or carbon dioxide. It needs phosphorus. Oh, it's just an edible plant. Okay, that's a what? What are you? Nectar. Wild. Alright, let's get these thimblereeds into the farms. Once we get that some power, it's going to start feeding our farms. Fertilizer, that's going to give us the fiber we need for the Atmos suits, which is going to let us come back out here and actually explore this environment in a way that's safe. We have plenty of algae. We have plenty of algae. We'll be okay. Please, please just get this going. I'm begging you. Conditions are good. We are growing. Thank goodness. 2-cycle growth? Easy. Yeah, we don't need a lot of reed fiber. Like, we don't need a crazy amount of it. We just need enough to kind of get the process started. So, speaking of which, now for Atmosuits, we need to make them at a station called an Atmosuit Forge, and for that, we need a fair amount of refined metal. So here, I'm going to queue this up. We'll be able to refine it a little more efficiently later on, but for now, this is the best we got. I'm also spying those dust caps, I would like to get those farming. Now, for those to grow, they need to be in a carbon-rich atmosphere. They have to be grown in CO2. So I'd kind of like to push my water reservoir a little further down and start growing my dust caps in this space. 3, 4. Yep, just again, that 4 tall build envelope, I think, is just a good pattern to keep to. So I'm going to go ahead and dig that out. Whoever does that, pulls that short straw, is going to be absolutely miserable, but it'll be important work. These will still technically output reed fibers. Eventually, one day, it's going to give us some kind of product. Yeah, these are growing super fast. We'll be in good shape. Oh, and there's plenty of wild ones up here too if we're feeling adventurous. Need those Exoforge though. Thank you for washing your hands, I guess. That's very polite. Starvation? Liam is starving. It's because Liam can't move. The chef is starving. He's just having a terrible time. Come on. And Nails drops the medal. Come on, buddy. All right. Do we have the... Getting tired of you, bud. Getting tired of it. Oh, it always ends up this way, is I just get in this very antagonistic relationship with my dupes. But good news is we have enough material to make ourselves an Atmo suit forge. Gonna need a little bit more to make the docks and the suits themselves. Oh, I'm glad it was fun. Thanks for watching with us. Get some nice sleep, and I'll catch you next time. I'll see you soon. Bye. Oh, what a sound. I wonder if this is operating or athletics. Looks like it's operating, but based on how hard he's hitting that poor thing, who can say? Oof, I knew building here was going to be challenging, but I want to get that water level just a little bit lower. Because we've got, especially with this carbon skimmer, we've got a really nicely defined layer on where we'd expect our carbon to stop. So we've got a good spot that we can use for cultivating mushrooms. Dustcaps. Dustcap. What a name. Sounds like it's poison. Ooh, these are almost grown. How nice. Yeah, that'll be fast. Then for the oxygen to supply them, I think I might just siphon it from the rest of the base. I think it'll be easier for us to build our, like, long-term oxygen solution if we have a way to safely explore, and we've done a really good job of keeping the air in here pretty pure. Like, aside from, like, the, well-defined carbon layer at the bottom, and we know we're going to deal with that, there aren't really pollutants here. There's not, like, weird stuff that's going to get into our Atmos suits. I think we're pretty safe to just siphon the gas from here and use it. We're definitely keeping up as far as algae is concerned. And overall, we're gonna use the same amount of oxygen. We're just gonna move it from the base into a suit. Oh, they're snoring. There, let's make sure we've actually got enough ladders to get down into our reservoir, or we could be in trouble fast. Swear I must have jabbed myself with some eyeliner. I'm so itchy. It'll be better by tomorrow. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, we got the forge done. Nice. Yeah, we've got a little bit of reed fiber, plenty of copper. We'll make our first couple of suits in a little bit, but first we want to think about our suit layout. So I think that's pretty easy. We're going to need one Atmos suit checkpoint in the direction that we're moving. I'm actually going to go ahead and leave a space here for us to take a ladder up, just so they don't have to sidle up and over this block every time, try to save a little bit of energy. I don't actually know if it's much faster, but I think it's worth considering. So we're going to do that. We're going to throw in a couple of docks. Ugh. Gross. Icky. Much better. How much more copper are we making? Yeah, let's keep making. Let's keep making this stuff. So we're gonna need that. Wait, they're disconnected. That doesn't work. There we are. So for all of this, they need to be adjacent. Guess we ran out of material. Well, we'll have enough in a little bit. Keep on driving that reservoir down. That nice and cleaned up. I think as we're kind of winding down in the evening, I think I'll be satisfied if we get Atmos suits. If we've got our Atmos suits, we'll be in good shape. I really don't want to splice these onto this line. That's a lot of power. Oh, Liam, I swear to God. I'm gonna lock this dupe in a gym until he fixes whatever he's got going on. I'm not even cooking anything at the moment. Oof. So I think... yeah. I don't want to throw any machinery in here, because this looks like it's a good spot for a ranch, too. So I'm gonna pick a spot that looks like it has some available clean air. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it here, especially being on top of the deodorizer. It should be pretty good, and we're just gonna go ahead and supply some oxygen to these. It's not included after all, but gonna request some suits be dropped off at these ports, at these docks. I'm want to queue up. Oof, we have no reed fiber available because it is outside of the base, so we are going to disable this and let the dupes actually go through. While these checkpoints are enabled, dupes will not cross unless they have a suit. So if there are no suits available, it locks the outside. Good for keeping dupes from getting into trouble. Bad. Oh, we cannot afford you guys. Bad for if you just happen to leave a little bit of rare material outside the base. So like here, they'll be able to harvest that. We'll make a couple of Atmos suits. It'll be good. Oh, we pumped some weird gas into this one and took some damage. That's fine, though. Here, let's move a little bit faster. Well, thank you for supplying that. It won't do anything, but thank you. 9 critters. Okay, so we're maxed off here. So gonna probably do something with those animal products, but at the very least, they're probably making a comfortable amount of coal. Wrong element damage. What do we keep pulling in here? You know, it's probably CO2 that they're breathing out. I don't want to put a filter on it. It takes a decent amount of power. Ugh, but I also don't want to have to repair this constantly. No, you know what? This is merely a temporary thing until we get actual dedicated like oxygen production. So this too shall pass. Ooh, power's a little low. Oof. Oof, that might have been one of our wires. Oh, we are running a lot on this circuit. We might be melting something somewhere. I think I see a way for us to clean this up. Yeah, we're gonna put this on a different circuit. This is dangerous, especially with how much power this pump is consuming. Please make the suit. I believe in you, Liam. You can do it. Well, it's made. Are you gonna put it in a dock? There we go. Oh, this thing is getting clobbered. Okay, I gotta do something about this. Oh, this is good. This is nasty. I don't like putting gas filters on stuff. They take so much power. There are, again, kind of cheaty ways to do it that are power free. I can't even say cheaty, but like essentially mechanical only filters, which are fine, but they're a little complex to set up, and I really don't want to sweat that like at this point in the evening. So I'm gonna just take our waste CO2 here, pop it there. Actually, I should be reversing these. Orange is the filtered side, so I want my oxygen to come through there. There we go. That'll do that. That'll do that. It's ugly, but it works. Wait a second. I think I can do that more cleanly. I don't care. All right, and then we're going to filter that on just oxygen. Get that some power too. We got a suit in the dock. All right, I think, let's see, things are kind of quieted down in our chat. So I think with our basic food done, living quarters done and a little bit nice, kitchen ready for some food, and Atmos suits ready to explore the outside, I think that we are in a good spot to wrap this up a little bit early, babes. But thank you so much for spending the evening with me. I will be back on Sunday for our Shop Sunday stream. I think it's time for us to do a little more sewing, finish out on that doublet that we started last time, get the rest of those sleeves on and make it a little fancy. And have a wonderful night. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.